Act 1. Greed and hypocrisy leading to a genocidal world war. Then post-war injustice and hysteria. A boom. A crash. Totalitarianism. Act 2. Greed and hypocrisy leading to a genocidal world war. Post-war injustice and hysteria. A boom, a crash. Totalitarianism. Act 3. Greed and hysteria. A boom, a crash. I don't dare continue. Totalitarianism. Again, yes. But never before has mankind been confronted by the problem of surviving global death, total death, the doubting of reality, and overall a well-bred paranoia. Totalitarianism. And our personal antidotes. Dope. Marking time and making money. Making it. Turning on. Turning off. Dope, 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 dope. The facts are persons enough. The facts are persons enough. The facts are persons enough. Was the death of society totalitarianism? Totalitarianism.
Yeah, we're about 30 seconds early, but you know what? I'll give you guys an extra 30 seconds. I'll give you guys an extra 30 seconds of my voice today. All right. Let's see here. So I was struggling to find something to talk about on stream. I'm still streaming. I haven't streamed in a week, Food Shops. I nearly fucking died. All right. I'm living it up now. Now it's no holds barred. All right. Everyone missed me. Oh, man. You know what's the, like, so has anybody in chat ever had a surgery before? I've never had a surgery before. I don't know if this is because of the surgery or just because of the, I don't know if it's because of the surgery or if it's because like it just completely threw off my life schedule so bad. But like, I feel like I can't fully, I don't feel like I'm like mentally, like cognitively all the way back. I'm like 90%. Like I'm forgetting stuff. I'm not thinking of words quickly enough. Is that normal? Or should I tell my fucking doctors? Actually, you know what? I could right now. I looked up the side effects of one medication. And it explained why I like couldn't sleep for 48 hours. But I don't know if there's like one of my medications, maybe it like gives you like brain fog a little bit. I don't know, but like, Jesus Christ, dude. When in doubt, ask your doctor. Well, listen, my second ER trip was a complete fucking waste of fucking time because I called the fucking nurse helpline. Dude's talking to me like I'm a dead man walking. I go, Ukraine is losing a lot of ground. And then some people are saying Ukraine's not losing that much ground. And so I don't feel comfortable talking about that one really that much until we get a clearer picture of what's happening on the ground there. But thank God for WillyMac, who 5 minutes before I decided to start streaming, decided to come out with another Hasan is a horrible person video. Oh my God, it's an hour long. Oof. Sunday thinks Israel is genociding Palestine because of policy. A few soldiers joked about killing. A few soldiers joked about killing on a recording, and their voices weren't shaky, so that equals policy. Can you link me the clip of that? Okay. I also have a question. Why is everybody, if I go to Malcolm's stream, talk about Brianna Wu, Rezi, Brianna Wu, I'm pretty sure, I don't think Wick is. Brianna Wu. Is there anyone else in this area? No, there's no one else in this area that's streaming on YouTube. But it's just like, man. We'll talk to the commentary people. I just don't like, here's like my opinion, okay? I don't really have, I at baseline, I don't really have a negative opinion of Brianna Wu. And like, I've told people this, I don't feel uncomfortable telling people that. I'm like, neutral to like slightly above neutral on like slightly positive on Brianna Wu because she's a partisan Democrat and I fucking love partisan Democrats who will call out progressives. So that's where I'm at with Brianna Wu. But man, I don't know if it's just like a bunch of stuff left over from the Gamergate days. I don't know if it's like people are like obsessed with her. And she's just not enough of a lolcow for me to ever find any content about her entertaining. Yeah, I was watching Resi for like 30 minutes, just kind of passively in the background, give him a view. And bro, I just don't understand the very strong criticisms. I feel like at some point I tried to look into it a little bit just so I could understand. Right? But it was so mild. It was so mild. Like, I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was that she interned for a Republican in her early 20s or some shit. She's like almost 50 now, right? Not as like a dig. I know you shouldn't talk about a woman's age or whatever, but like she's like almost 50 now, right? I can see why she is disliked, but the effort put into covering her and tracking her movements isn't for me. Yeah, like, listen, I've been in 2 group chats with Brianna Wu, and I was not surprised by a goddamn thing that I saw out of that woman. All right? Did she lie about her illness? What illness? Are you talking about like the tweet where she said like she was going to take a break from stuff? I not gonna lie, I don't follow the group chats that closely. But I have very strong reason to believe that is. I don't know if it's an illness or what, but like I have good reason to believe that there's no reason for that to be a lie. But most of the stuff in the group chats was just like, man, I just don't understand why this is happening here, or why people believe this, or why this is acceptable. Like, that's like the overwhelming majority of stuff, which is like the exact same kind of topics that would, in the exact same way, by the way, that like every single progressive group chat that I've ever been in before the like lefties and the progressives didn't like me anymore. Every single group chat I've ever been in has been exactly the same way. Yeah, I saw people celebrating bad news from the hospital. With a negative prognosis. Oh, man. I can't speak to that. I just don't know. I get bad vibes from Wu, just a gut feeling. I mean, like, that's one thing. That is one thing. And I'm not going to sit here and, like, question you on that. It's just like the multi-hour streams going over, like, what? President Sunday. I know that he put out, like, a 15-minute video. And I listened to this, ironically, I think I was in the emergency room the second time when I was told about like more Brianna Wu leaks. And so I went to his VOD with this and I listened to it on 2x speed. So maybe there's something crazy in here, but like, I have no hate for Oliver / the Omnipooner on Twitter. I have no hate for that guy. He's pretty chill, or at least me and him have been like pretty chill ever since I've ever interacted with him. I don't know what the fuck they were fighting about, but like, let's see. This one right here, right? We've been friends with each other for a long time. Don't call trans women men, and we're cool. but start some public shit with Mia, and we're going to get into some gangster shit. Can someone please, for the love of God, explain to me why every single one of these fucking losers, all right, who, I'm sorry, constantly tell people to KYS, who constantly, like, you know, when they're not being monitored, are totally fine with saying slurs and shit. They have no problems with any of that shit. And I know this for a fact, okay? Can someone please, for the love of God, tell me why a string of messages with a little emoji right here, LOL, boomer core right here, and then the gangster shit thing, and everyone's acting like Oliver was victimized and that Brianna Wu was threatening him. It's just like the most like deranged shit. Like if she did some like fucking crazy horrible, like she like, you know, murdered a bunch of fucking puppies a long time ago by tying them up in a bag and then throwing them into a river, like, bro, that's one thing. All right, go and hate on her all you want, but like, fuck me, dude. I just haven't seen anything that's warranting so many fucking videos and streams and shit. It wasn't a bag, it was a pillowcase. Oh, well, that makes it totally fine then. Their morals are conditional until they don't like you. Moral treats. Right, but even then, like, it's like the only reason that the lefties don't like her because she's, like, become disillusioned with the progressive movement. Like, that's the lefties. The conservatives probably just hate her because she's a Democrat and trans. And then these commentary people who are essentially like political nihilists, like, why would they care one way or another? Like, I know everyone in Spicy Chat has a massive fucking big take on Brianna Wu, and I've read through the conversations and I've asked questions, and just never, ever have I found a goddamn thing that I'm personally like, you know, I guess like maybe that's like a little bit cringe. It feels a little boomer core maybe, but like at the end of the day, is this like something I'm super concerned about? I'm not really. Oh, cool. Is my webcam doing the thing again? Awesome. You know what I'm going to do? Because I want the webcam to be there. Stolen Valor, she didn't do as much as she said she did during Gamergate. Okay, 1 second. Before we keep going. Let me get this thing back on. Okay, let's see if that works. His crazy face is making me nauseous. Yeah. I'm not gonna like watch this entire thing. How's it going, Econo boy? For being inconsistent regarding Keffels? Okay. You know, I've said this same thing like fucking 40 times over the past couple of months, but like I really do feel like I'm aging out, even though half of these motherfuckers are older than I am. But like I feel like I'm aging out of this fucking space because I'm trying to, like, sometimes I'll try and find content and I'll watch another person stream, like, oh, maybe they're covering something that's interesting, or maybe you know, maybe they're covering something interesting or something that's funny or something like that. And bro, it's just like I can't force myself to care. I can't even force myself to care. And that's crazy for me because I'm an autistic retard on the internet. All I can do is fucking look at cringe. That's why you should subscribe to Three Wonks. Do y'all have a YouTube? I thought that y'all were streaming on Twitch. I'm not even gonna lie. After once I do get the hospital bill, I almost certainly will have to do like some sort of either like a stream, fundraiser or something like that because fuck, they gave me CAT scans, they gave me ultrasounds, they did fucking surgery, they fucking kept me overnight. Like I don't know how much your average fucking hospital stay will cost, but your boy has no insurance. Okay, so. Don't pay it, wait several months and pay 5% of the cost. Hold on, let me just do this real quick. And then go into the server. And then paste that. If I go to jail because... No, you know what? I'm not going to go to jail. If anyone gets mad at me, legally for this, I'm holding on to the screenshot. I know, Econo Boy. I'm making a joke. I forgot that you guys over there in like the econ building of the university or whatever the fuck, you guys lost your sense of humor the day you got your degree. All right. How much do you owe? Well, I have no idea that because I have to go back to get they left a plastic stent in me. So I have to go back on June something, and they're going to remove it. So I assume at that point they'll probably give me a bill. But it's not like I can just like not get it removed because, dude, when I tell you, bro, when I lean forward or like twist, I can literally feel like I can feel it. That one discrete point in my fucking urinary tract. That shit's absolutely fucking god awful. Get insurance before you get it removed? I don't think that's how it works. It's like a mechanic selling you blinker fluid. I think that the stent was necessary. Actually, what the fuck is the point of a stent? Yeah, I'll probably look up some stuff on like how to get the bill reduced, or if there is literally no penalty, like it stints things. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it holds shit open, but why would I need? Because they didn't cut anything out of me. They stuck something. Now, I will say this: they put me under for this, but they stuck a fucking camera snake laser like through my dick, through my bladder, up to my kidney, and blasted the fucking kidney stone apart. So they didn't have to cut anything. So why would you need a stent? Hey, I appreciate that, man. I'll throw that a like. I didn't know that I could like and hearts the super chats. For kidney stones, yes, they are incredibly painful. Let me see here. I thought they could hit it with sound waves without all that intrusive shit. The guy told me 3 options that they had, and the least invasive one was the one that I got. Because the alternative was they drill a hole in my back and then put a bag on that hole until I could afford to, like, I don't remember why I would ever choose that option or why they even presented it to me. But like, they're like, yeah, we could cut a hole in your back and put a drainage bag in while you consider your options. And I was like, no, just get it out, dude. Just get it the fuck out of me. I've already been waiting in the fucking ER for like nearly 24 hours straight here without much of an update. Please just get it out of me. And then pretty quickly after that, they got me into surgery, but then I had to stay overnight again. So. Which would explain the bleeding. Well, I just assume that any time something's going to go up a dick, it's going to be bloody coming out. He didn't want 5 doctors standing around him yelling at his penis. True. All right. Imagine having blood in 2024. Imagine having bloody piss in 2024. I'm so behind the times, dude. All right. We'll watch the Hasan video, but we're probably going to speed it up because, oh my God, it's a fucking hour long. Wait, actually, I'm super curious. All of his Hasan videos, how long are they on average? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shit. Oh, they're pretty long. They're pretty long. Okay. Man, how did Hasan get 6 videos? How do you fuck up so bad that you get 6 videos nearly in a fucking row? Anyways. Do you think my interest in philosophy is commendable for my age or no? Honestly, I don't have a good answer for that. I don't think it's like commendable or like a knock on someone if they're not interested in philosophy at a young age. You're certainly like on average ahead of people in terms of interests, but I don't know if that is a like necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. Anyways, let me just fix this. Oh, I did watch the Keffels video, but there was like nothing new in there. The only thing that was new in the Mutahar video, what's his name? Ordinary Gamers?
Hello, guys and gals. Me.
Okay. The only thing relatively new that I don't know how widespread it was, let me see if I can. I think it's around here.
Brought on stream to promote the site.
This Bob posting person, I've had them on my stream like 3 fucking times back when I was still on Twitch in the 2021, early 2022 place I was living. And Front Yard Shield, let me fucking talk about one thing for 1 second, okay? We'll let the Discord mods decide what they want to do. This Bob posting person, I had them on my stream like 3 times back in the house that I was living in late 2021 through most of 2022. And they came on to talk about DIY HRT before they had launched this big initiative or whatever the fuck. And the way they presented it to me was so different than what they were talking about with Keffals, because I guess they just went full mask off with Keffals. Bro, there was some new information that came out in this video that was kind of
together. Chloe thanked Keffals for her sponsorship and even got brought on stream to promote the site.
Wait, apparently Xanderhall had dirt on Keffals, but White Force threatened to destroy his website? Source? Where did that come from?
She would reply to Clara on Twitter, 1,000 minors on HRT. Her association sparked backlash after people began to notice her bizarre fixation on secretly sending HRT to minors. I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen.
Well, what was the dirt that Cherry ended up giving to Diorio? Because I am unaware of, well, maybe I'm unaware of that.
No one tell him I've held more than one minor order. I don't groom children. I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bathtub estrogen with cryptocurrency and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? The directory does, in fact, take cryptocurrency and at one point even instruct.
Oh. Cherry gave Diorio leaks that Keffals was going to betray Wu and cause Wu to switch? Ha! Shadowrun. Bro, this is going to be like Christmas for you, okay? You have no idea. The only screenshot that I know that Keffals was talking shit about Brianna Wu was the one about Israel-Palestine. Was that leaked by Cherry?
Minors on how to buy Bitcoin. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you or go to your local BTC ATM. Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions. Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors, and by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. So when this was brought to the public's attention,
Abby, can you
several
send that to me?
changes to the site were made. They removed Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals and implemented a site-wide age warning. This seems to contradict their explicit advocacy for minors to use the site. 2 days later, Chloe announced she would no longer be involved in the directory. Keffals similarly distanced herself and her sponsorship vanished. She has tried to down.
1 second. Everyone was calling Chloe an optics nightmare long before the Keffals drama. Yeah, when I talked to Chloe, it was at the beginning of me at the very beginning of me like dropping the socialism stuff, but like for the most part I was like still very, very lefty, still very, very Twitter brained and shit like that. And I was willing to take her at her word for everything. And there was this big argument. I can't remember who I was arguing with, but I think it was Maya / Finboy Maths, Chloe, and like 2 other people that were in that kind of group on Twitter at the time. And they all came on stream. And I was playing like Age of Empires 2 or some shit. And just for like 2 hours, they just talked about how stupid it was that everyone was getting mad about it. And the way that they presented it was like totally fucking reasonable, at least to me. But man, the more that I found out about the way that they were going about things and the sourcing of those medications was, bro, unfucking believable. Like they're sourcing fucking Chinese, like AliExpress fucking estrogen injections. Why the fuck? I'm sorry. I might be a little bit of a pussy. I would never do any kind of drug that involved me injecting it into myself. I could never be a heroin addict because I would never be able to bring the needle to my fucking skin. All right? Too much of a pussy. I can't imagine buying something off the fucking internet and then willingly putting that into my body for medical purposes. Like if it was a snack, sure. But like if it's a fucking medication, no fucking shot. There's just no way. And then I think like some of them had like shards of glass inside of the vials. Some of the fucking things had literal fucking cat hair in the fucking juice, dude. I'll take your word for it now, Tron. Plus Abby, I think, is getting the source if he can find it. But anyways, yeah, like that's just like fucking unbelievable to me. Like actually the most unhinged fucking thing. Says the guy who had a tube shoved up his dick. Hey, listen. If I was shopping around on like fucking Craigslist and then I had that procedure done like at home through Craigslist, yeah, I would be looking at myself just as fucking sideways as I'm looking at the people who are injecting fucking, you know, Brazilian lolicon fucking estrogen juice into their veins. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did that. But like, here's the thing. I can't even be mad about like people doing that. Because on one hand, I understand people being desperate. I understand people who are in like a bad situation that have no other options. But like going out of your way to advertise this to people that are desperate, when the sourcing is as bad as it was, when the sourcing did have like the fucking problems that they did, I'm sorry, that's like, it's not even like an ideological or a political thing for me. It's just like, dude, that is the stupidest fucking thing you can do for like in a self-preservation preservation sense. Like, can you imagine like, what's the worst that could happen out of me advertising you know, gray market, not quite necessarily illegal, but it's in a gray zone legally, right? Some gray market fucking hormones to people to inject into their bodies without the help of an endocrinologist. And I'm specifically going to like brag about giving it to minors. And I'm going to tell them how to get around the limitations that they have being a minor and not having a bank account. Like, if you're not going to jail, you're opening yourself up for a fucking lawsuit at the very least. I just can't imagine what the fuck they were thinking with any of this, dude. I'll never understand why they were sending people to that instead of the multiple overseas pharmacy the trans community has been using for decades. Well, see, this might surprise you guys, but I am not trans, so I don't know like that sort of thing. Like, I didn't know that there was overseas pharmacies that would do that, or if that's even legal. So, but like, yeah, if there's already established channels where you can get safe fucking medication, please send people to that and not try to make your own where you're getting it from fucking China, AliExpress, fucking like bathtub estrogen. And then they kept on saying nobody's making estrogen in their own house. Nobody is making estrogen in their bathtub. And then on their fucking website, there is literally a link to how to fucking distill estrogen at home. I just don't fucking understand what the fuck these people think. The thing is, I don't think they do think. That's the problem. I don't think they do think. Aren't a disproportionate amount of convicted child abusers transgender, or do I have that wrong? I'm not going to get into this. Like, you're not necessarily wrong in like a literal sense, but like leaving out so much shit that you're not taking into account that leads me to believe that it has nothing to do with the trans part and everything to do with like the multitude of other factors. But I'm not getting into that right now. Again, like, I don't know if you guys could tell me ranting just now, but like I said this earlier, but like I still have some kind of like brain fog from the surgery. Like I'm fucking up words that even though I do fuck up words sometimes, it's never been this bad. So. Also, let's not keep this one-dimensional for the male to female. Let's consider for a second female to male trans people. Well, yeah, nobody ever talks about, trans men, literally ever, right? There's just like, and like the sad thing is like, trans dudes are always super fucking chill. Like, I don't think I've ever met. I was about to say like an actual trans guy, right? But like every like trans guy that is transitioning or has transitioned that I've ever met in my entire fucking life has been the chillest motherfucker I've ever talked to. Like they're always super fucking chill. Even if we like super hardcore fucking disagree on something. Yeah. Like the, not Fit Mongoose, FTM Mongoose, right? Malcolm, the streamer brother Malcolm. All right. We had crazy, I wouldn't say they were like heated arguey debates, but like we very obviously hardcore disagreed with each other, but we can still chill. We can still chat. That has literally never happened with a trans woman that I've argued with, which just reinforces in my mind that, trans men are men and trans women are women, because only a woman would be that fucking catty. Okay. Do you know how I can kick my dressing fantasy? Do you mean like cross-dressing fantasy? You're just going to have to get over it. If you just do what makes you feel good, dude. Who fucking cares? At a certain point, like, just fucking stop caring about whatever your, like, hangups are. Just don't be fucking weird about it.
Left-leaning streamer online.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. We haven't finished this yet. I wanted to give Shadowrun his Christmas since he wanted to see Bob posting in jail.
And this is what she had to say earlier this year when questioned about the directory. I gave a wiki site $500 a month and they put my website link in the banner. This was the extent of my involvement. I have never produced or distributed or even purchased DIY hormones. I didn't sell anything to trans minors and I wasn't involved in production or distribution.
Also, wait, there is one thing that chat can get me because I can't do it on desktop because I'm banned on Twitter. Can someone get me the Star Roxvia thread on Keffels' finances? Bro, I will go over that one. That shit, I think I read like probably 75% of that thread, and that was enough for me to say, bro, they got her dead to rights. Keffel stole $100,000 and blew it in less than a year. Holy shit. Well, Front Yard Shield, if you ever saw a woman wearing blue jeans or, like combat boots, then if you weren't as morally upset about that, then you shouldn't be morally upset about the other way. Yeah, someone please DM that to me, post it in the Discord for me, please. Because I cannot search anything on Twitter because it does not give me full access.
Distribution. Claire didn't just endorse it. She was friends with the creator who openly gloated about pink pilling minors. She even joked about it with Clara on stream.
I wanted you on the stream because I have a lot of trans youth who watch the stream, so you gotta like chill your pink pilling stuff.
Wow, I have the perfect resource for you. So I am pretty well known for those who don't know. people know me for like being knowledgeable about DIY HRT and how to access DIY HRT. And so I have a site which people are already sending a link in chat is DIYHRT.github.io. If the mods want to like plug that would be amazing.
So while Chloe has since disappeared from the internet, there was actually a new development. It was discovered that shortly after retiring, she was convicted for robbing a bank in 2020. On February 14, 2020, on about 7:18 a.m., an individual wearing a surgical mask walked up to the counter at the Scotiabank branch located at and handed a note to a teller. It read, "This is a robbery. You are not in danger. Call the police 30 seconds after I leave the door. Give me all your money. No bug money." The robber handed the teller a box. The teller placed cash in the box, and the robber then left the bank with the box of cash. The teller locked the door and told her manager what happened. The police were called. This individual was identified by police as Chloe. The teller placed a GPS tracker device hidden between four $20 bills. And when she discovered this, she tried to hide it beneath some snow. It was quickly found, reported to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash, and Chloe was convicted in 2023. Though currently her sentence is unclear, the Criminal Notebook, a free resource on Canadian criminal law, says the average sentence in Alberta for this exact type of crime is 4 years and possibly a fine. And while it's unclear who owns the directory now, it's still around to this day.
Everyone thought she was going to go to prison for the fucking DIY HRT stuff, for the pink pilling, for the weird, grooming accusation type shit. No. Bitch decided to go full Bonnie and Clyde, but solo. It fucking robbed a fucking bank, dog. That's the fucking craziest shit. When I first heard about that, I was willing to believe it, but I wasn't going to like talk about it too much. Until it was absolutely confirmed, but like Mudahar and like 15 other people worked on this video. I'm pretty sure at that point it's been vetted. It's been vetted. I cannot fucking believe that like the criminality goes from, ostensibly, trying to do a good thing through possibly illegal means and maybe some ethical concerns along the way to like flat out just like robbing a fucking bank, dog. Like, Jesus Christ. Have you got a plan to talk to Adventurous this Friday? That is the plan. I need to follow up with him because the last time I messaged him, I was telling him, hey, I'm going in for emergency surgery. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk today. So.
In fact, they recently added back Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals. In fact, they even added back that filthy Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, clearly waiting for that public backlash to die down. Needless to say, everyone involved in this entire situation has exhibited suspicious behavior at best.
And I always thought it was so fucking gross that they had like little anime girl branding all over that fucking website, dude. It's so... Like, here's my thing. Is it intrinsically a bad thing? Not necessarily. People put, artwork on their, pharmaceutical websites all the time. Usually it's just like that corpo, really annoying art style. But this is like, number one, it's anime, so already pedophile. But like, you already have like this major, big kerfuffle in the United States where people are willing to just immediately assume that trans women are predators for children, right? And you don't have like a fleeting synapse fire in your brain for a picosecond or a thought forms and you think, actually, I shouldn't play into that. Actually, you know what? It would probably be like kind of bad if that backfired and then more people thought that trans people were pedophiles. Like when stuff like that happens, it hardcore solidifies in my brain that most of the people that are claiming to be trans advocates that are trans on the internet, or even, cis people that do it. So I guess if you just like claim to be a trans activist on the internet and then you do like some like cringe virtue signal shit like that, even if you are organizing it in such a way that it becomes like a big project, right? Like it's a virtue signal because you're not actually doing anything to help anyone. You're possibly putting more people in danger. But like the reason you're doing it is for like social clout. This is 2 minutes. Can you check it out after? Maybe. Oh, God. Ayn Rand, dude. I know Ayn Rand's fucking philosophy, guy. Isn't it like extreme self-interest in a capitalist sense? Bro, let me tell you guys something. This thread is... They got her fucking dead to rights. And there's one tweet. Let me just keep on going down. Or did I missed it. Oop, scrolled past it. There it is. This is Keffels' finances from all of the different revenue sources that she had online, right? That was leaked to Roxy. That's what her name is, right? I assume Star Roxvia. I think her name was Roxy. I think that me and her are chill. But like, additionally, a former editor of Keffels shared with me a copy of Keffels' finances from May 2022 to July 2023. In it, we can clearly see that in August 2022, Keffels earned over $13,000, which is actually higher than the surrounding months. First off, holy shit. Before, like, what was her viewership at that time? Because I'm pretty sure that I was vaguely aware of Keffels before the whole Destiny Keffels blow up thing, right? And it was like, I saw her streaming to like 100 people concurrently on Twitch, and she was not dual streaming. But then sometime between like the year before and this, she's making $13K a month. And I know that she was not getting 1,000, had a lot of pay pigs, but like, well, I guess it makes sense if she's not, I guess right here, AdSense, that's YouTube. So she's getting $0 there. Getting 1,800, 1,700 before the fucking blow up. No. That was just, this is just after the blow up with Destiny. Okay, because the blow up with Destiny, that happened in like what, March of that year? So, I mean, that's just fucking crazy in and of itself. But let me see here. She also reiterates that the non-legal portion of the fund is going towards moving and recouping her losses. But in my investigations, I found that she had no concrete losses to recoup. Keffels was swatted on August 5th. She later said that all of her devices were returned 3 days later.
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
This is corroborated by a property bag shown in a CBC story. Blah, 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 blah. Ay. Sorry. Out of breath. To reiterate, Keffels did not have any losses to recuperate. So she was telling people that she needed money to buy new streaming equipment when she got back 3 days later. And she didn't even suffer any losses at that time. She didn't suffer losses until she had to go in for rehab, like, what, 8 months later? No. Where's the one, which is the line that had, like, $0? Oh, maybe I'm just misremembering. Yeah, she got like 5,000 this month, which is like the lowest that she had gotten for a while. Because she had to like completely like leave the internet for an entire month, right? She didn't have any losses to her revenue from the swatting, but she got that $100,000. And then, like, I'm not going to read the entire fucking thread here, but let me see here. I want to find the part where it says how much she spent in how little of a time. Da-da-da-da. By November 30th of that same year, where she got $100,000 fucking dollars, she spent or earmarked it. If anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe money, I am definitely getting canceled. I keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out and buying new streaming gear and clothes. Bro, that is the most unhinged shit. I can't imagine spending that much money. I can't imagine spending that much money. Ever. Listen, I'm poor and I never spend money. I don't buy shit for myself. So I can't imagine getting $100,000 and then finding something to buy in less than a year for that much. Jesus fuck. All right. Anyways. So we got the Keffels thing. Chloe's in jail. Got it. Will appease front yard shield for 2 minutes. Let's see what Ayn Rand's philosophy is.
Objectivism. It's a guide to living here. Developed by this writer. Wondering who needs a philosophy?
The biggest problem that I have with Ayn Rand's philosophy is that it is like it in a vacuum. It makes total sense about like being, you know, radically self-interested, and that will lead to better outcomes, right? But at the end of the day, I think it leaves out so much context of like the human psychology about how we need other people, how we need, sometimes selflessness is a virtue, right? Where Ayn Rand does not believe selflessness is a virtue; it is a vice. Like there's too much complexity to the human psychology and how we are social creatures for us to like boil it down to, well, if everyone just does what's in their own rational self interest, then, you know, ultimately the cooperation will lead to a better world. It's just, that is a pretty big oversimplification of how human beings operate.
She answered that. To deal with real life, we need a view of the world and our place in it. Now, some people have strong opinions on objectivism. It's a philosophy that's controversial because it advocates selfishness and says altruism is evil. But we'll get back to that. Rand's philosophy looks something like this. It starts with the idea that reality is objective. The universe is what it is. Now,
also, especially after my lefty arc, dude, you guys can't even see the bottom things here. Any philosophy that has baked into it any kind of economic prescriptivism, I think is just crock bullshit. Economics are emergent from human behavior, but they're not ethical or unethical in and of themselves. It's the decisions that we make through those economic decisions, and how we want to organize ourselves. But like in and of itself, is socialism evil? Like the economic structure of it? Probably not. I don't think so. No, not in and of itself, right? Is capitalism evil in and of itself? No, it is a tool used by humans in order to achieve some end. But it's just like, it's not a moral thing. But people want to tack so much onto, like, they want to write their little philosophy, worldview, and then they want to tack as many things into that as possible so that, like, their singular set of beliefs are fully explained by one philosophical system. And it's just like so fucking cringe.
That reality is objective. The universe is what it is, not what we want it to be. And wishing otherwise won't make it so. Next, it states that our reason is all we have and all we need for understanding the world around us. And if reason is an absolute, you can't accept contradictions. It also says your highest moral purpose should be the pursuit of your own selfish happiness. Now, selfishness can be misinterpreted. It doesn't mean exploit others for your own gain. It means realize your highest potential by pursuing rational ends and live in harmony with others by respecting their right to their own life and happiness. The result of this philosophy is a life of reason, purpose, self-esteem, a philosophy for living on Earth.
And also, to be clear, I understand why Ayn Rand would turn out this way. Didn't she like literally flee Soviet Russia? Like, if you have to flee a totalitarian regime whose entire, system of politics, economics, and just like general philosophy themselves is based around a specific economic organization, like, yeah, I can see how that would like turn you into like a fucking like raging fucking crazy person yourself on the opposite side. Yeah, I do understand it. I just think it's super fucking stupid. I haven't watched enough Ayn Rand to say, oh, I think she's an evil person or that she's like a bad person. I don't know about that, but like in the bits of philosophy that I've heard from her, the analyses of books that she's written, like, I 1 billion% understand. I 1 billion% understand why she is the way she is at the very least. What philosophers have I studied? I don't want to get into that right now.
If you know that this life is all that you have, wouldn't you make the most of it?
I've literally taken philosophy 1 and 101 and 102 or whatever the fuck the actual course numbers were in college. All right, I've had to read philosophy before. I've had to self-learn philosophy. I've read some philosophy books. Okay.
Resume includes Asmongold, a 16-year-old Israeli kid, and me, where his only defense for his continually poor reporting is saying it's all out of context.
The reason why I said this, and you do this regularly, okay? When I say something on this stream, okay, oftentimes, especially if it's a developing story.
How do you know I say this stuff?
Especially if it's a developing story. If I misspeak, apparently you can use it in your commentary as though it's like super serious. So anyway,
I didn't name one example that I did that.
I don't know. I don't watch your videos, so
yeah. So don't make shit up.
He's very critical of other people's debating skills. His grand advice to Destiny when debating Ben Shapiro was to call Ben a fascist.
Oh my god, dude, this is why you need to be a little bit more educated. Okay.
Can we all take like just a moment to recognize that Twitch literally changed their TOS on like not having a banned streamer's face on your stream to accommodate Hasan's obsession with Destiny the same way that Destiny is obsessed with Hasan? Like, he never got banned for it in the first place, but because people kept on making a stink like, hey, you banned me for watching the same video. Why is Hasan not getting a ban? I don't buy anything for me. What am I to you? Nothing. I'm not purchasing you. Okay, yeah. Front Yard Shield, I'm just going to ignore everything that you say about philosophy for the rest of the day. Sorry. I would much rather laugh at Hasan.
Okay, he's a fascist. Him bringing up Nazi Germany as a moral regression is an awesome point. What do you say in that situation? You turn around and go, yeah, that's exactly the kind of moral regression you're advocating for in the United States of America when you want to have these like insane regressions on culture and on civil society.
The moral regression Ben was advocating for was a two-parent household, just like those evil Germans.
Dude, I would destroy Ben on Israel-Palestine. I'm serious.
Then
He's
debate
so
him.
bad.
When given the chance to destroy someone that's about as intellectually honest as himself, Hasan loses it on international television.
You ask her about 30,000 people.
I've got two panelists here who've not had a word yet.
Because you're a terrorist.
Please stop talking.
Forcing the debate to end early.
Cut off their food. Cut off their water.
Okay.
Yeah, the slight
you know what?
Israel,
I'm going to cut off.
Israel
I'm going to cut off this debate.
79% of their electricity. The rest is Hamas.
I'm going to cut off the
That's
debate
not
because
Israel.
we're getting
Israel
absolutely
provides-
nowhere. But I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very much indeed.
He famously did a fluff piece for the Houthi terrorists, giving their pirating operation the stamp of approval from him and his entire audience.
That's so fire. Oh my God. Dude, we think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
Hasan will get
It is equally as fucking disgusting on Twitch's part. Like, I don't know how many people were here for the debate that I did yesterday, but I did a debate about D&D, right? And it was about like whether DMs should ever, lie about a dice roll, or whether they should ever, fudge the rules for one reason or another, right? And I said, yeah, as long as they're being consistent, as long as everybody knows, like going in, right? If they're expecting it to be a board game where there are like, they can look up what the result of what their action is going to be beforehand without a ruling from the GM, like, yeah, like it's totally fine to fudge the rules, but the rules that are being fudged. Why is the screen so tiny? Yo, how did that happen? Sorry, I have no idea why it's all the way up there. Sorry about that, guys. The problem with Twitch is they don't have consistent rules whatsoever, right? Like, if Twitch wants to ban all of the Nazis off of their platform, like Nick Fuentes, right, who were at Nick Fuentes was at January 6th. I was going to say at Charlottesville, because that's what he had done at that point. But like, he was at Charlottesville. He, said racist stuff on stream. Not a great person overall. If they want to ban him, that's fine, right? Saying something that's pro-terrorism, right? Like pro-white nationalist terrorism. That's bad, obviously. We don't want that on our platform. But then they allow Hasan to interview an internationally recognized terrorist organization operative on his stream. I say interview. I'm sorry. I meant to say suck the dick of a terrorist operative from a internationally recognized terrorist organization. Okay? The fact that he is still on Twitch with not so much of a fucking slap on the wrist is one of the most disgusting fucking things in the entire fucking world to me. It is actually fucking crazy. It is unfucking believable.
So much backlash for this, he would rewrite history only a month later, acting like he never knew this kid was a—
1 second. Front Yard Shield. My future sister-in-law is Jewish. Very Jewish. Israeli Jewish. Extremely Zionist. To the degree that I would say unhinged with like the level of Zionism. But you know what? Just because I'm mad at something that you say doesn't mean that I hate everyone that like possibly could be, ideologically aligned with you. Like I've said a million times, you don't know me. You think I'm one thing when I am not. Also, really quick, I'm going to lay down the law right fucking now. I have stopped this fucking video 5 times to respond to you. If you're going to say something in chat right now, Front Yard Shield, it must be relevant.
a pirate.
I had a random teenager from Yemen on this broadcast, And these dipshits literally kept saying he's an anti-Semitic, homophobic.
As for this, he would rewrite history only a month later, acting like he never knew this kid was a pirate.
I had a random teenager from Yemen on this broadcast.
Random teenager, a guy that literally the only reason that you were aware of him is because he got big on TikTok or YouTube or whatever the fuck he got big on, sailing around with the fucking terrorist group. They were all armed around him. They were going to the boat that they illegally captured. A Japanese ship, by the way, not a Jewish ship. Even though they were claiming to fight against Israel, it was a ship based out of, I think, Japan. Like, he is rewriting history. Why the fuck? How the fuck? I can't imagine devoting any time watching someone and like possibly getting political takes or, you know, historical takes or any kind of information from that person when they get caught fucking lying constantly. But I guess, like, at the end of the day, what it requires is you to be, like, ideologically bought into whatever the fuck they're doing, right? Like, if you're ideologically bought into, like, the socialist memes, whatever form of socialism Hasan espouses, I don't actually know. Is he a democratic socialist? Is he a social democrat? Is he a... I don't fucking know, because I don't feel like I've ever heard him talk about economics beyond the most like surface level Marx fucking like copy pastas. Like, well, the workers should own the means of production, guys. That's why labor unions are based. Like, he doesn't understand a goddamn thing that he's saying, but he's regurgitating and everyone's just slurping it up. I just don't get it.
And these dipshits literally kept saying he's an anti-Semitic, homophobic.
Yeah, we all know he LARPs, but the problem is that people are watching him for information, and I understand him. He's getting fuckloads of money. I understand that. That's super easy to understand. I don't understand the people that watch him, the people that sweep for him. I tried to sit through a Hasan stream or part of a Hasan stream like 3 or 4 times over the years, and it is the most boring shit. He's not entertaining. He's not intelligent. He's not even informed on the topics that he's talking about, as the fucking 10 billion clips of him where he says something in full context, and then the opposite is true, laid out right next to it. How many times does that have to happen before you're like, you know what? I don't think that this guy is honest. I don't think that this guy is giving me good information. Like, that's part of the reason why I stopped watching Vosh, is because I was exposed to varying degrees of fucking lies that he would put out, right? Like, I was beginning to get disillusioned with Vosh before he became like a stochastic terrorist telling people to arm themselves and start taking pot shots at Republicans out of windows, right? Like, before that, I was already done with watching Vosh. It's because I could see that he was a fucking liar.
Gay people executing terrorist Houthi who killed probably a bunch of fucking sailors. Random Yemeni teenager.
He literally talks about being a Houthi on his social media, saying you should only be a...
He's just a silly little dude, you know? He's just a teenager doing teenager things like hijacking international shipping lanes. Like, shut the fuck up. It's so blatant.
Afraid if you're a Jew. And when it comes to engaging with different points of view or criticism, Hasan is as dishonest as ever.
Shouldn't you be trying to convince these people of the right thing instead of ostracizing them? Man, suck my fucking dick, dumb. These people are brain broken. You don't know what the you're talking about.
This is gonna be a classic. That's the thing. There's a lot of
OMG,
dishonest
is
folks
that
on the
Luffy?
internet that you have to protect yourself from, like data brokers who steal your information and sell it to spammers and scammers online. Your full name, home address, health records, family members, it's all out there. That's why I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura
It's all
automatically
out
submits
there, guys.
opt-out requests to these sites, which would otherwise be impossible to do. As you can see, I've had over 15 data brokers selling my phone number and address online, leading these annoying robocalls, ringing my phone 5 times a day, and leaving me open to being doxxed. This not only limits the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to access my social media or bank accounts. Just this year, AT&T had a massive data breach of over 73 million former and current customers, exposing their personal information to the dark web. This is why you have to protect yourself online. It also comes with an antivirus.
Yo, real shit. Today I learned, because I don't follow European politics at all, okay? Well, actually, I guess I do, because I keep up with a lot of stuff going on with like the Russia-Ukraine war, but like insofar as like their domestic policy and all of that, I have no fucking clue what goes on in the EU. I guess they have some kind of anti, not identity theft. They obviously have an identity theft. What did you just say? Like data mining laws where companies can't just like steal your data. Why the fuck does the United States not have that? Like for all of the fucking Heman and Han that we do about all of these different companies taking people's identities and selling their data and shit like that, can someone please explain to me, for the love of fucking God, why there hasn't been like any push for that? Because I'm like, at this point, I'm learning a little bit about how the like data mining stuff works, or how they collect data on you, what data they do have on you, how vulnerable that shit is to, tons of different hacker groups and hacking methods and shit. It's like, hey, that's pretty scary. And then you hear about how some of these websites are like literally owned by China, and they can like track your movements. And like, if they figure out that one of the people that uses their website or their app or whatever the fuck is a government employee, they can possibly track their movements in real time while they're on like top secret military bases and shit in the United States. Like that I don't understand why we haven't had the conversation of like, hey, maybe we should make this one illegal for national security interests. We kind of do because Germany does. Basically, Germany made it a crime to store people's data for a very long time, and because websites didn't want to go through the hassle or risk. Oh, 1 second. I have to answer the phone for like 2 seconds. All right, we are so back. Actually, really quick, since I paused here for a second, I'm going to turn on the fucking AC because it is fucking hot up here, dude. Holy shit. It's 77 degrees. Jesus. Fucking kill me, dude. And I'm wearing a sweater. Okay, let me see here. Basically, Germany made it a crime to store people's data for a long time, and because websites didn't want to go through the hassle or risk, they just changed their policies to automatically delete people's data. During that time, you got a whole fuck ton of emails saying everybody's TOS is updated. I want to say China bought Grindr for a while to blackmail gay Republicans. That would be funny, but it would still be bad, right? Like the reason, like I'm for the divestment of TikTok on the sole basis that they can either like stay in business and divest from a company that literally is beholden to the CCP, or like they can get the fuck out because dog, the money moves that the illiberal countries are making in the past couple of years to specifically fuck over the United States and literally every other country because they don't want to live by international rules is like just the most fucking unbelievable shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like this is like, I also like to, I've been listening to some like old World War II, like the lead up to World War II, what happened and why. And like, man, it's just because like they tried to create a rules-based order, and then like guess what? The bad guys in World War II were like, you know what? Let's see how far we can take this before they get mad. And they did. They, they invaded China from Japan, and they invaded Czechoslovakia and Hungary and Austria. They took all those things. And then another illiberal fucking country, the Soviet Union, ironically enough, that was on the Ally side, made a joint fucking pact with the Nazis to take over Poland. It's like, bro, history doesn't repeat itself, but like, and I don't think that there's like historical cycles or anything like that, but like, bro, there are definitely some parallels right here where like limits have been tested and tested and tested over the past couple of years, right? With Syria and the red line that Obama drew, with the taking over Crimea back in 2014, with China like pretty openly saying that they have an interest in invading Taiwan. Like waters are being tested, and the only president since these waters have been tested to stand up and say, actually, no, fuck you, has been Biden. Up here in Canada, the government may take action for Chinese interference in our elections. I also don't understand why everyone gets so fucking mad when the idea of Chinese/Russian interference in elections gets brought up. Like, it's been proven, not from just the United States, but from Canada and basically every other country that could possibly even like desire to be allies with us. Russia and China are meddling in their fucking, political systems too. Not directly changing votes, at least in the United States. Want to make that clear before anyone soys the fuck out. But like the general chaos and like extremism making that they participate in openly, they literally admit to it. I just don't. I feel like I took the red pill. I feel like I'm Morbius. Oh, wait, hold on. No, it was Neo. Neo took the red pill. Okay. And Morpheus and Morbius is the bad DC film or whatever. Yeah, I feel like I'm Morbius and I took the red pill, and now I can see what the real world is like. And it's actually not that different from the world that I thought it was like before, but now I can see all the fucking retards running around with like VR goggles on thinking that they're looking at the real world. It's like insane. fuck. I'm sorry. I almost had, I had like an ischemic stroke just now reading Front Yard Shield. I'm taking too long to decide whether I'm going to respond or not. I'm not going to respond. It's just fucking like, you know what it reminds me of? Like, unironically, like I talked to another streamer in DMs earlier today about another person in the space that I didn't know was still streaming. And I said, you know, he's like the only person who I thought was like actually mentally ill in a way that I don't think that he can control. I actually feel bad for the guy, right? Not a big streamer or anything. You guys won't know who I'm talking about. But like, I think that this guy's like actually mentally ill in a way that he can't help, right? And that I feel bad for him, even if he's like a little bit fucking crazy. Like, it's crazy in a like actually schizophrenic way. I think that he's probably not going to be able to hold it down without medication much longer. Panda, when I read your messages that say Uncle Sam is the one who locked down Americans and pumped trillions into the economy and opened our borders, and you think Russia and China, yeah, it unironically, and I don't mean this as any amount of hyperbole whatsoever, it's literally the same level of fucking discourse as that guy. Oh my God. Oh, you can't even see. Am I Morbius? Am I Morbius now, guys? Manar reports? I've never heard of a Manar report. No, I don't know who that is. Oh yeah, Neo. Fuck, I'm sorry. I watched The Matrix one time when I was like in high school, okay? I don't remember the fucking movie. It was okay.
Virus, a VPN, password management system, and more without having to download all.
Wait. Yeah, no, that's my face superimposed. Yes, that is me.
All these other apps. It's all in one place. You may have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving the back wide open, and it comes at a much cheaper price. Go to aura.com/WillyMac to start your 14-day free trial to see if your information is getting leaked. It almost certainly is. Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring this video.
I've been working a long time now. I've been working for free.
You see Hasan streaming other people's videos all the time. It's hard work. He's really exhausted by it. He claimed that streaming was more soul-sucking and draining on his social battery than a normal job.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
I sympathize that every line of work is going to have its days where it's hard, but comparing streaming in any way to a real job is so out of touch, especially coming from the guy who leaves to eat midstream while other people.
I also think that like, I get accused of being a Destiny dick rider all the time, so I don't usually talk about Destiny on stream too much. At least I don't think I do. But like, I think that Destiny's take on this was probably the most like accurate. Like, I've never had stream really affect me in this way because I'm not a fucking huge streamer or anything. Even at my peak with like 200 concurrents, I wasn't like at a level where this would be affecting me like this. But like, there's probably some part of it that is soul sucking where you're putting on a performance. Asmongold said the same fucking thing. You're putting on a performance all day long and you're socially drained afterwards. Even like a little bit. I mean, me, if I streamed 8 hours, I would be like actually like a little bit like physically and mentally tired at the end of that. So like, there is something there to that. But like, Hasan's response to like the jokes about it were just absolutely fucking not it, fam. They were just not it.
people's videos play. Hasan would obviously get a lot of heat for that, so he'd quote tweet me saying, "It's wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how streaming eats away at my social battery compared to my sales job, but people already understand the context, they just disagree. His own chat disagrees. Comparing it to retail work is just so funny. He's trying to get his chat to ratio me on stream while they're telling him he has a bad take."
Pass. It was a bad take. Let's just move on. Because imagine a soul-crushing job and then you still don't have money to take care of your family. Yeah, I famously say work is not soul-crushing. I don't understand. This is why people stop watching? No, man. It's not because of hater content that people stop watching. Your chat is not even on your side. What the real reason why people stop watching is because shit like this pops, dude. It bangs. It bangs on Twitter. It's like, and new people that would normally filter in here are immediately fucking negatively polarized against me. That's it.
When people would ask Hasan what he thought of the criticism, he would say that he's too much of an adult to be bothered by it.
What did you see the what we take? I did not. I did not look at any of these takes. You want to know why? Because I'm a motherfucking adult who lives in the real world. And it doesn't matter.
But as the stream progressed, it became increasingly obvious that it definitely did bother him. Muda would point out that even with the extra context, he still disagrees. And Hasan would say Muda is just posturing.
It's honestly posturing specifically to be like, I, as an online content creator, am very close to you guys. I'm just like you. I hate when streamers say stuff like this. I'm very different. And it's like, bro, you know, you understand the context of it. It doesn't... You understand the context of what I said. You see that it's like clipped out of context, and then you double down on the
fucking. What is this fit, dude? Is he like dressing as like a blinged out fucking like cat burglar, dude? What the fuck? Am I more mature than Hasan? I would say you guys are actually about the same level, and I think that for some reason that's more of a ding on him than it is on you.
The clipping out of context, and you say, well, even in context is still stupid.
He then pulls up Muda's tweets on Palestine to discredit him and show that he's a bad person.
That's crazy that the fucking fence is holding him. That's crazy. He's sitting hard on that thing, dude. He's like, this genocide stuff is very complex.
But Hasan would hit a boiling point when Ludwig would upload a video disagreeing with him.
There ain't no fucking way MAGA Mail made it.
Also, one thing about like people like Hasan and people who are trying to like give you like an answer for every single fucking thing, like I am pretty open that like there's a lot of stuff in the world that I don't know. Most of what I talk about I say with like I'd say like 7 out of 10 confidence in what I'm talking about. No, I'd say probably 7.5 to 8. I'm fairly confident, but not like high confidence, not like 9 or 10 out of 10 confidence on every single fucking take that I have, right? My average, I would say, is like a 7, right? Because I'll couch that like I might be wrong or I might be missing something or something like that because dude, I have other things going on in my life. Like I watch a fuckload of news. I watch a fuck ton of like I might be becoming like an actual politics nerd where like I'm watching videos about like polling samples and shit. But like I don't know. If someone's trying to give you like an easy answer for something that everybody says is super complex, like they're lying to you. If they're like the only person or like there's like one group of people that says something is super fucking simple, like one ideology or one political bent that is telling you this is a super simple situation and all you have to do is this. It's actually going to be like 10 orders of magnitude more complex than they're ever going to let on. They're trying to tell you that it's simple because they want you to agree with them. That's literally it. You don't seem to know much history other than American history going back to the 90s and maybe some European and American history of World War II. I know way more history than you think I do. And I know much less history going back to the 90s. I know more history from like, I would say probably like World War I until like the end of the 70s. I know a lot about that era. I know a lot about a lot of like ancient history, and I know a lot about like stuff that's happened since 2016. But like, I don't know dick all what, like, why we went to Iraq and who was lying about what during that time. I was like a fucking first grader. I haven't found like some source that I trust on other things that talks about that. So yeah, it just doesn't come up.
A huge streaming controversy video. There's no fucking way. This motherfucker avoided like the plague 8 Nick Merckx LGBT controversies only to turn around and make a MAGA mail. What is the thumbnail? Let me see this.
Wait, what is this?
Streaming is the hardest.
Sorry,
mail made a huge stream.
I need to stop getting distracted by chat because I'm missing important things in the video.
Upload a video disagreeing with him.
There ain't no fucking way MAGA mail made a huge streaming controversy video. There's no fucking way. This motherfucker avoided like the plague 8 Nick Merckx LGBT controversies only to turn around and make a MAGA mail. What is the thumbnail? Let me see this. Streaming is the hardest job on earth.
Wait a second. Is the Mogul Mel guy the guy that Destiny was like in hot water with for beefing with on Twitter?
He's so mad. So Ludwig shows all the context and he still disagrees, making a lighthearted joke about Hasan, and Hasan feels devastated.
But I wanted to talk about this as a streamer myself for almost 6 years now on how hard it really is. I'm kidding. I would look. I just.
Oh God, it just annoys me because like it's such a fake fucking thing to do. It's just literally using someone who you're friends with, like being maliciously.
Wait, did he cut out like? Hold on. Was there a cut that like cut out the entire joke?
Devastated.
But I wanted to talk about this as a streamer myself for almost 6 years now on how hard it really is. I'm kidding. I would look. I just.
Oh God!
Oh,
it just
Hasan
annoys me because
paused it.
like it's such a fake fucking thing to do. It's just literally using someone who you're friends with, like being maliciously clipped out of context to be like, I'm actually one of the good content creators. I know how privileged I am. It's like, yeah, I do too.
When Hasan says something is out of context, it's never missing context. It just means they disagree with him. Hasan would go full mask off when an audience member pointed this out.
Yeah. It's like no different than what Muda did. He showed the context though. It doesn't matter that he showed the context. It's just a way to just literally farm off the fucking drama.
Well, then don't say it's out of context. Hasan doesn't have any way to really defend himself, so he molds and then just goes back to saying everything's out of context.
I got used like a cum rag for a Rocket Mortgage ad, dude. Come on. Dude, come on, bro. Don't farm me like that. Jesus Christ. That's lame as fuck, actually. Like,
I cannot imagine being such a fucking little bitch baby where like has Hasan never like I've never known a guy, sorry, I'm gonna pull a little bit of gender essentialism here or whatever the fuck. Like dudes when they hang out, at least in my experience, and like basically the experience of every guy that I've ever met, like they'll rag on each other and like make little jokes at each other's expense constantly. Has Hasan just like never done that? Is this just like too much for him? I can't imagine why people want to like. I can't even say I can't imagine why people would want to be friends with him or why people watch him or something like that. Like, I understand why people will watch him. I guess like they already like agree with him and they're not going to dive deep into any kind of fact checking. People want to be friends with him because, he has a fuck ton of clout and connections and shit. And so they're obviously incentivized to remain friends with him. But I also would never want to be friends with someone that was so fucking sensitive that like if you made a tiny fucking joke, they would make it a whole thing about like, oh, why are you gonna farm me like that, man? Like their life is ending. That would just be so. It would just be so. I don't like to tiptoe around people, you know? If people don't want to hang out with me because I don't tiptoe, I can't fucking speak. I can't, because I don't tiptoe around them, then that's fine by me. It's just different ways of hanging out with people, but I just don't get it, dude.
I thought he was at least gonna, for a good cause at least. Yeah, dude, he's a great cause. He threw me to the flames, posted a fucking Twitter, a fake tweet, said that, you know,
taking the
we are
piss.
so privileged actually, which he's right, we are. He just said it was out of context. Farmed me regardless, moved on to be like, look how nice I am, and sold a fucking Rocket Mortgage ad in the process.
Hasan would end his stream and his fans would try to pressure Ludwig into taking down the video.
You should call Hasan and apologize. Why is Hasan mad? What did I do?
Oh no.
Like that fucking feeling, like if you're actually friends with someone and then like you accidentally hurt their feelings, right? Like that's a shitty feeling. Now imagine like being worried that you're constantly going to do that. Just like, why would you ever put in the effort for that relationship?
What'd I do? Because I'm a mogul male?
Did call Hasan, he's crying unironically.
Hard for views? Oh, well, I mean, shit, if that's the deal, I'll just fucking pull him out of the thumbnail, and then I feel like it doesn't really matter much, right? I feel like outside the thumbnail, you can't really make that argument much.
But this wouldn't be enough for him, so Ludwig would take down the video and re-record the whole thing, siding with Hasan the whole time.
People don't really give a shit about the context. People don't really give a shit about the conversation. They just care about getting Twitter likes, which is all this really is, which is why people like Keemstar are tweeting out shit like this, just,
Bro,
you know,
that's
just for
so
a dunk set.
cucked.
Nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the facts or about any people involved. They just care about a little Twitter like, little impression.
Ludwig got a single.
It's so cucked, dude. Guys, if I ever get to that point, if I ever start like acting super fucking ass hurt, like, oh no, like this person betrayed me. How could they do that? If I ever do that, like immediately remind me that it's time to delete my channel. Okay. It is time for me to end streaming. It is time for me to no longer be part of the space. I can't handle it, obviously. Just pressure me into deleting the fucking channel. And then none of you guys ever watch me again. Okay? Jesus Christ. That is so fucking cucked. This guy strikes me as generic. Bro, that's brutal.
Single DM that said no balls and then showed a tweet about bringing assassinations back.
Or he spoke with Hasan, got his side of the story and changed his mind. But like, the problem is, like, on one hand, I can like joke around and take the piss with my brothers, right? We're both pissing at the same time, making careful consideration not to cross the streams, right? Keeping our eyes forward, not down. I just can't imagine being in a friendship with someone where like such a mild joke comes off as a major betrayal. That's what it is for me. Like you can change opinions, but like the idea of like two people, you're both friends, you're also in the both professionals in the same field, where like ostensibly a little bit of shit talking is warranted because you're literally on a video game streaming website, right? I like him like telling him, hey, this hurt my feelings. If he had like, I feel like if that was the case, if someone like came to me and they were genuinely hurt, right? I would say, you know, I got you. I wasn't trying to do anything by it. I'll cut that part out of the video. Like that's one thing, right? But like re-recording and then glazing the guy, that's cucked. That's so cucked.
some reason acting like this was a
I am not cool with you betraying me because I'm pretty sure you could dox me if you wanted to, Tron. So you're in the no betrayal zone. You're not allowed to.
serious threat.
And this is the one that sent me over the edge. Now, this is a DM from a guy that's just...
This is the one that sent me over the edge. As if he was mad about it before, but it was just like a silly situation to him, you know, a couple of hours before when he recorded his video. But now he's like, oh, this is the one that sent me over the edge. That's cocked.
Said no balls because I removed the video. Again, what the fucking plan to re-upload the video? But he messages me and he says no balls. Now, you know, by itself, you don't think much of it. But then I clicked on his Twitter account and I see that he said this: wish assassinations were a real thing. And this isn't a quote retweet to people in this situation. Not trying to say who. I'm not trying to get demonetized here. But what a crazy thing for Mr. Penis Head to say.
Why is it crazy? His name is Mr. Penis Head. It's got a single like, and Ludwig's virtue signaling about how un-American this guy is.
Can now be a guy who's wishing for assassinations, because why? The guy you don't like online is millionaire? Said something you don't like?
Bro, I just don't... I don't get like the... You guys can tell me if I've ever done this, because most of the people that are in chat have like watched my stream on and off like for a while. Have I ever like been performatively outraged over what was a very, very obvious joke? I just can't imagine, like, I feel like one reason that I don't think I would ever do it is because I don't think that I would ever do it because I would get called out on it immediately by you guys. Like, I have a community of people that, like, on average, like a collective 20 of them will watch my stream any given day, right? Which is fine by me, right? But like, I couldn't live that down because it would be unescapable. Oh, damn it. Fuck. Might have to leave stream here in a second. We'll see. I'll keep my phone open. Trying so hard to justify bending over for Hasan? Yeah. Bleeding penis? No, not medical thing. Just like a very inconvenient thing. But I don't think I will. No. It is hurting right now, like actually quite badly. I was gonna like try and find a nice little pausing point to run downstairs and get some Tylenol here in a minute, but I don't want to walk. Yesterday, the D&D stream, the performative stuff, it was only half performative. I was getting a little bit fucking irritated at the smugness from the other side. And then like them like ultimately at the end of the day agreeing with us, but then like pretending like they didn't. And then like going back and arguing against it, that was a little bit fucking irritating. It was, I would say I added like 20% extra spice on top of it, okay? I did die a little bit inside yesterday when I thought that I was using my stream deck to hit the mute button to say little things to you guys, right? While other people were talking. But I guess the stream deck wasn't connecting to the OBS so that all of them could hear me too. I didn't realize I was like taking snipes at them while they were speaking and they could hear me. Bro, I felt like such a fucking clown, dude. Jesus Christ. I felt like shit. Not only because like, yeah, it's like rude to interrupt someone, but also like it's someone else's show. They have like, you know, decorum that you're supposed to follow, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like sitting there like, yeah, you dumb fuck. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, you know? Yeah. Like I'm cool enough with all the people that were on that stream for it not to be a big deal, but like, man, just like bad form by accident.
It's the most un-American thing I ever heard in my fucking life.
Oh wait, hold on. What was the most un-American thing he's ever heard in his life? It was from Mr. Penis Head? Bro, we've been watching this for literally an hour. Okay? I want you guys to realize this. This is how bad you guys stunlock me. We've been streaming for 2 hours. We've been watching it for an hour. We are 10 minutes into this video.
Can now be a guy who's wishing for assassinations, because why? The guy you don't like online is millionaire? Said something you don't like? It's the most un-American thing I ever heard in my fucking life. What's more beautiful about being an American than seeing someone you don't fucking like, but they're allowed to say whatever the fuck you don't like? It blows my mind.
Why are we taking Mr. Penis Head's joke tweets so seriously? Hasan's literally tweeted a picture of the same 3D printed gun that was used to assassinate the former Japanese prime minister. And he did this to a United States senator. But Mr. Penis Head way too far. Ludwig's a coward for taking this video down. It's so funny to me that Hasan has this expectation that his friends need to defend him at every turn for every dumb thing he says. Vosh's community makes fun of Hasan for his poor coverage of—
You know what? Hasan is actually a lot like Tipster in that way. He expects everyone to defend him, and he's going to defend everyone that he's friends with to a fault. I would say that I was about to say like Hasan is going to be the next lolcow, but I guess to me he already is. You know, because conservatives do this too. Front Yard Shield.
Of Ukraine, and Hasan wants it down.
This is not a leftist community at all, for the record. I don't know. I really thought so. I reached out to Vosh earlier today. I was like, listen, dude, I see something going on that I don't like. I'm letting you know it's a fucking never-ending death spiral. It will turn out bad if you just like allow this kind of shit to foster. And he was like, he was literally like, yeah, no, f off. Like, these were legitimate criticisms. I was like, bro, they were literally clipping shit from my Twitter where I was criticizing Russia to make it seem like I was pro-Russia. How is that in any way, shape, or form legitimate criticism?
He's lying again, saying it's out of context when it's not. I have a whole video documenting it. XQC ranks Hasan a little lower on a tier list, and Hasan cries about it.
Like, whenever your chat was like calling me out or whatever, when mentioning Moon and NMP Lol, Asmongold, and all these other content creators actually, you know, whipping their communities when their chat is going absolutely bananas over random dumb shit and bringing my name up for no fucking reason. And I thought that for the past year, you were just allowing.
What conservative is as bad as Hasan? Literally any of them that made their career on the internet.
That shit to run rampant in your chat. And I thought that was fucked up. Especially as someone who thought we were friends. I think that's a reasonable expectation for someone who you consider to be a friend.
But when Ethan was begging Hasan to moderate his chat from calling him pro-genocide every 30 seconds, Hasan's like, it's out of my hands. You did it to yourself.
By the way, I'm not even defending I'm not even like, I'm just trying to tell you guys how it feels. And I'm fucking shocked that you don't care that people in your chat are saying, who the fuck is this child, cold, arrogant, kind as fuck.
I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
How can you be surprised
this
when your
so
Discord
fucking
is
disgusting,
literally full
dude.
of
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do if you're making that argument. You know that, right? Like, at a certain point, you're an adult, and the words that you're saying are going to be perceived by people in a certain way.
You know, at what point is Hasan responsible for the words that come out of his mouth? Zero self-awareness.
I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like, it's not. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now.
That's bullshit.
No lube. So what you gonna do? If you're number one, shove it up your ass and make it number two.
Oh.
Hasan didn't like Destiny's debate with Ben Shapiro. He called Destiny an idiot for not picking apart Ben's points. Hasan's advice that he tries to give Destiny is terrible. He's like, never let Ben explain anything.
The problem is, you shouldn't actually ever ask him, like, how do you enforce that? Because then you're kind of conceding. You're giving him an opportunity to describe his like idiotic worldview, and Ben is a very skilled.
Name one libertarian who is as bad as Hasan. Literally all of them. I mean, fuck. They tweeted. Didn't the Libertarian Party recently tweet out like "Happy Birthday" to John Wilkes Booth with like a picture of John Wilkes Booth shooting Abraham Lincoln in the head? Like, yeah, I'm ignoring. Okay,
debater, and he will try to present his handmaiden tale as dystopia in like a relatively positive way.
But that's how good conversations work. One person talks and then the other person responds. If you don't go down their logical thought process, how will you ever understand their argument? It's no wonder all of Hasan's debates turn into screaming matches. Now, this debate was widely praised for being civil, respectable, and for allowing there to be a deeper conversation than just name calling. I don't want to show you too much because it's a little dry. It's a politically nuanced conversation.
Hasan is unfortunately the dumbest guy here this time. Please just simply tell me why you think that is the case instead of just saying that and making yourself feel smart, because that is what dumb guys do.
My guy, that's you. The master debater Hasan, would get a chance to show off his debate tactics on Piers Morgan, but unfortunately would run into someone as stubborn as himself. Emily is pro-Israeli Hasan. She's loud and overly dramatic, demonizing everyone.
How dare you say it's okay to talk about an intifada?
My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence.
Yeah, these two were made for each other. I ship them. When going on a show to debate Israel-Palestine, the number one question you will be asked is, do you think October 7th was justified? And Hasan refuses to answer directly.
It does seem that you're very selective about the violence that you support. That when you support it, it's justified. When other people use things in a violent way that you don't support, it's unjustified. Seems like it's all skewed to what Hasan Piker thinks.
Well, not necessarily just what I think. I think that there are obvious markers, obvious boundaries. I don't think violence against civilians is justified. I have talked about October 7 on this very same show, saying that it was a tragedy. It was atrocities that occurred on October 7 specifically. When you target civilians in any capacity, I think that that is unacceptable. However, this does not mean that violence will not occur in many circumstances. Violence has occurred in every single revolutionary action, many good revolutionary actions.
Piers now asks the obvious question, which is, does Hamas attack count as one of those good revolutionary actions?
Was what Hamas did on October the 7th an example of what you would call a justified revolution?
I don't look at every single act of violence. I look at
You've literally just
oh
been
my
inciting
God,
of
dude, fuck, dude. And like, wasn't there? Maybe it was. I don't remember if it was just like a clip I saw on Twitter of Piers Morgan having some lady, like she had the. I can never remember. I know the burqa is the one that covers like your whole face. What's the one that's just the headscarf? She had that, so she was Muslim and she was the pro-Palestinian side. And like, why is it the people that get on television to defend the rights of Palestinians, right, as someone that is like totally for making it to where, you know, less civilians die? If we can make that happen, we should make that happen, right? Fewer civilian deaths is optimal. It is the thing that we morally should be pushing for, right? Why can they never just say hijab? Thank you, Jesus Christ. Why can people who are like going out there to like shine a good light on the like pro-Palestinian movement, why are they incapable of saying like, yeah, October 7th was a bad thing? You can't fucking go around and like target civilians like that, mow down an entire fucking music festival worth of fucking kids fucking dancing on Molly. Like, you just can't you can't do that. That's unacceptable. But like, I feel like all of the major like TV shows that have had people on to defend, you know, Palestinians in the Israeli-Palestinian war happening, they just can't fucking say it. I even if like they could just like go back to their buddies afterwards, like, man, you know, like I fucking put on a show on there. I put a show on right there where I told them that I didn't think October 7th was base as fuck. Ha ha ha. And they totally bought it. They think that we're the good guys. Ha 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 ha. Like, you can't fucking, like, you're already a lying liar who lies. Why wouldn't you just be a lying liar who lies and also makes yourself look good? Like, why are you going to sit there and not, the one time you decide not to lie, the time you decide to like shut your fucking mouth is the one time where you ought to lie and make yourself look better. Like, I don't fucking get it. They're little Eichmanns. Jesus. All right. Palestinians are people, not Hamas. Wait, what did I say? I might have misspoke, but you guys know what I meant.
Why are you avoiding October the 7th?
You do it too.
No, I don't.
I'm not avoiding it. I've talked about it a million times
well,
over.
Let me ask you one more time.
This is not what we're here to discuss.
Emily, hang on.
This is not what we're here to
Hassan,
discuss.
let me just ask you. Let me just ask you directly one more time.
Just answer the question. He doesn't, so Piers asks again.
Let me ask you one more time. Do you believe what happened on October the 7th was a justified act of revolution? Yes or no?
No, Panda.
I do not, and I do think that. Oh, wait, hold on. That's, let me clarify.
Damn. Oh, bro. That's so fucking. He almost like tripped and stumbled his way into lying effectively. He almost tripped and stumbled his way into lying effectively. But then he had to walk it all back. No, I don't think October 7th was justified. Well, let me qualify that. Like, bro, just that's fine.
Let me clarify something very
I know
important.
why he's doing it, Charlie. It's just stupid.
Ready? He talks about how Israel is an apartheid regime, continuing to dodge the question, so Piers continues to ask it.
I just want to bring in our two British panelists here, but just finally, just to clarify, Hasan, I can't quite work out whether you said you do think October the 7th was an
He's so
unjustified
fucking pissed,
act
dude.
of revolution, or whether you changed your mind. So can you clarify?
I think that violent means of maintaining an apartheid is inevitably going to yield violent retaliation.
Just say yes. If your argument is that these people have been abused and oppressed for so long that this was the only option they had, then
Also, I just want to like pull everyone's attention really quick to the fact that like whenever people like will talk to Holocaust deniers or, you know, like Nazis or some shit like that, like do you guys think that like Hitler was right? They're usually, hey guys, saying the exact same thing Hasan is saying. They get super irritated when you press them. Or they'll say like, no, I don't think what Hitler did was right. He should have killed way more. Like that, like they'll do one of those two things. But like when I was a leftist, we would call out like not conservatives, because I don't know if I could say this about all conservatives. I know I couldn't say this about all conservatives. But like when like literal Nazis or white nationalists or people like that would dodge questions around like the Jewish question, or when they would dodge questions around race and IQ, and they would give like some like gray area answer, right, where you can't quite tell what it is they truly believe, right? We would call them out. Hasan would call them out because it's super easy. It's super easy to see through.
and fine. That's not an illegal position. He's so worried about optics, he can't even communicate what he thinks.
I do not. And I do think that oh, wait, hold on. That's let me clarify.
I find it funny that when Piers does this to opposing guests, Hasan loves it. He calls it real journalism.
Here is a 5-minute fest where Piers Morgan actually genuinely becomes a journalist for a brief moment. Let's watch.
You've literally no idea how many civilians you've been killing.
I can tell you definitively that our aim is to go after Hamas.
You have no idea how many civilians you've killed. If you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, you must know how many civilians you've killed.
Piers, with respect, don't put words into my mouth, please. I didn't say exactly 14,000. I said around 14,000, whereas Hamas will come out with precise numbers that statisticians will look at.
Give me a ballpark number for civilians.
Well, you can use the ballpark as far as the Hamas figures, which I reject as being false.
Well, if they're false, why would you give me those?
I gave you the numbers that I had.
No, you've told me you know how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you don't seem to have any idea how many civilians you've killed.
I saw a TikTok about this, and they were all saying you turned Piers Morgan into a believer. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's a shocking display. And as a fair and balanced reporter of facts, I will hand it to Piers. This is an unimaginable W.
But when Piers does the same thing to Hasan because he won't answer, that's because he's biased. Piers repeated the question one more time, and it about breaks Hasan.
Hasan, just before I come to the two people who are with me here, I just need some clarity here, because it seems like
Wait 1 second. The UN literally just walked back the amount of women and children deaths because their figures would have left only 10 male victims? Can you link that to me? Or link me an article about that? Also, I am going to have to, I'm not ending stream. I'm just going to have to like walk downstairs. I'm sorry. Surgery site, hurting a little bit. I need some fucking Tylenol because that's all they fucking gave me. All right. So find me that, that link or a link to that, and I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Just gotta, here, you know what we'll do? We'll put on some little music for you guys. You guys like Sonic the Hedgehog? There's some Sonic the Hedgehog music for you.
And we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkin in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying, you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall. And then I started to fly, I went in deeper. Let it get to me, I'm just gonna creep. Down Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I gotta hold my head, I have no fear. It probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. A ghost try to approach me, he got leery. Just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkin in the alley. Didn't seem happy, but they sure tried to get me. Had to back them up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying, you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and I searched as I climbed up the wall. And then I started to fly, I went in deeper. Let it get to me, I'm just gonna creep. Down Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I gotta hold my head, I have no fear. It probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. A ghost try to approach me, he got leery. Spooky up in here, it's crazy in here. We still gon' keep it going, I'm Knuckles. Nobody scares me. Whoever want it, bring it. I don't care, we can do this.
All right. Enough of that. All right, what did I miss? Marriage is a privilege, not a right, Nair? Is it a privilege that the government should grant? Here we are. Don't read. Why? Okay. Let me see if there is a way for me. Hey, hey Panda, that thing that I said earlier where like you're missing a massive qualifier in the whole like accusing people that you don't like as pedophiles thing. Yeah. If you do that again in chat, I am going to ban you again. And we're going to ban at least 10 more of your alts before I even consider getting bored of banning you again. Okay. Can I please just get one that's not fucking paywalled, bro? Jesus. United Nations cuts estimate for deaths of women and children in Gaza in half. Yeah? I gave her a little bit, yeah. I gave her a scoop. Wait, one sec. All right, sorry about that. The United Nations. Oh, let's just watch the. No, hold on. United Nations reduced estimates for the number of women and children killed during Israel's war in Gaza by nearly half, inviting new scrutiny for figures that come from militant group Hamas. Of the 34,735 people who have died in Gaza since the war began, according to data published on May 6 by the UN, more than 9,500 were women and more than 14,500 were children. But in updated data, Jesus Christ, 1 second. Sorry. Updated data published 2 days later on May 8th, the UN significantly reduced the figures to 4,959 women. So about 4,000 less, 4,500 less, and 7,797 children among the 34,844 people reportedly killed in Gaza. Oh, shit. So if we do, where's the number? 4,959 plus 7,797 equals, okay. And we do 34,844 minus, what was the number before? Fuck me. Here, we'll do it like this. 4,959 equals minus 7,797. Bro. So it's entirely possible the amount of people that they killed were overwhelmingly actually Hamas terrorists. Jesus. This is the video where Hasan says the hard R. Let's go? Wait, did Hasan suddenly get based and red pilled? Bro, this is pretty rough. Like, here's the thing. Anyone who has ever lied and gotten away with it, they've learned one thing. That when you lie, you want to tell a lie that is believable. All right? And if you're caught in it, has an explanation. It's really hard to fuck up data on that level without like intentionally manipulating it. Where does it say that? Yeah, it says more. Yeah, what they're saying is like 28,000 or so of the people that died or something like that, whatever the number I just pulled up. I closed the calculator. That's the amount of people that actually have been killed by Hamas, or I'm sorry, by Israel. That's the amount of like men. But dog, that's actually fucking crazy. Are all adult males Hamas? No, I'm not saying that, but the way that I understand that things are going on over there, if you're of military age and you like do anything threatening towards like the IDF, then they're like going to blast, right? So not all of them are going to necessarily be Hamas. Some of them could have like gotten pissed off and thrown a rock at an IDF soldier or something like that, and they fucking shot him. That shouldn't count towards, you know, shooting a combatant, or I don't know, under international law morally, right? And then, you know, a lot of those people that are men of like fighting age, yeah, they probably are Hamas. Not saying all of them, but I'm going to say like probably a huge chunk, probably a majority. I'm just trying to figure out the calculation. Yeah, like all we can know are like the split between the genders of adults and then children. That's all we can know.
Tom, I'm currently 10 miles outside of Beaverton, unable to get inside the town proper. We do not have any reports of fatalities yet, but we believe that the death toll may be in the hundreds of millions. Beaverton has only a population of about 8,000, Tom, so this would be quite devastating. Any word on how the survivors in the town are doing, Mitch? We're not sure what exactly is going on inside the town of Beaverton, Tom, but we're reporting that there's looting, raping, and yes, even acts of cannibalism. My God, you've actually seen people looting, raping, and eating each other. No, we haven't actually seen it, Tom. We're just reporting it.
I mean, kind of. If you pick up a weapon in the uniform, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but I don't know, like, if someone gets, like, mad and shoves an IDF soldier that's, like, rounding them up, does that count as, you know, them allowed to be liquidated? I don't know what the rules are on that. So I'm, like, heavily couching what I'm saying here. There's probably well-defined lines on who you can and can't shoot. There's probably well-defined lines on, you know, all sorts of things that happen in combat zones. Never been in a combat zone myself, so I can't, you know, I'm not going to speak with any confidence on that. Okay, let's get back to the Hasan video for right now.
You're dancing around. Whether you think October the 7th...
Right. Take any hostile actions towards the military. But I think that there's a difference between like a military like hostile action and like fed up civilians like being upset at how they're being treated, right? Like if we were like, let's say we had American troops in Afghanistan and, you know, one of our soldiers did something that was like you know, out of pocket in a legal sense, right? And then like people got mad and they were like all shouting around the soldiers and they were like, you know, chastising them, and then like, you know, it escalated, and then like the people were like trying to like push them out of the fucking city square or something. Should those people be allowed to be just like mowed down? Actually, you know what? Wasn't there a situation like that in Iraq with a Blackwater guy? And he, like, that entire squad of Blackwater like mercenaries got tried and convicted, and then Trump decided to what's the word? Pardon all of them. It requires a threatening, violent attempt to undermine the force being brought to bear. Yeah, I'm sure all of this is like heavily dependent and some shit like that. But again, it would be interesting to look into that, but not right now. We have people to make fun of for being political extremists. Okay.
Was justified
Why are we
or not?
doing this? Why are we doing this back and forth masturbation? I've already given you my
Why are you
position.
doing this?
I'm
He's
sick and
happy.
tired
It's
of
Jews
repeating it
being
over and over
killed.
again.
Okay,
Because
I just
it's
asked
Jews,
this.
it's okay.
Ask this
Emily,
demon
stop
next to
talking.
me
Group, it's
wearing
not
a
okay.
fucking
Come
idea
back
of
to you.
dog
Only
tag.
when it's Jews, it's okay.
Please
We're
stop
not
shouting
doing
at
it.
each
demon next
other.
to me wearing an IDF dog tag if she actually thinks Israel's
No,
actions are
bring them
justifiable.
home.
Do you
It's
see
to bring
me
the
rocking the
hostages
fucking
home. The hostages
All right,
that you
you're talking
rightly
over each
believe
other.
belong
Doesn't
in
matter.
the
All right.
You know what it
tunnels of
is.
This whole time, by the way, the other two panelists haven't even been introduced. Hasan then asked the inverse question to Emily, but she answers very clearly.
Stop.
I'm really apolitical as a soldier back when it wasn't politicized. I gotcha. Thank you for your service, sir. I do a lot of politics on this stream because I'm a political science student. I like that sort of thing, but we just don't like it when people are super extremist. Okay, that's where I'm at now. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a fucking Democrat at this point. What I just can't stand are like people who are political extremists. As a former political extremist myself, it is just like the most childish fucking behavior. And these are adults who make millions of dollars trying to tell people truths, and they know that they're lying. And they're making millions of dollars, and they have all these resources where they could just tell people the truth, but they have too much of an incentive to do the other thing.
Doing this to each other, please.
Emily,
Nobody
Emily,
can understand a
can you
word
condemn the
either of
actions
you
of
saying.
Israel?
When have I ever been an extremist? Brother, CDN, weren't you in my chat when I was on Twitch as a fucking full-blown commie? That was the most stupid shit. Yeah, well, most extremists are very uninformed, so...
Stop it. Get some help.
We need more PSAs like that.
Now, let me come to Esther and James here. This is one of my problems.
No, I want to
actually.
hear if Emily condemns
No,
the actions
Hassan,
of Israel.
you
Why don't
will
ask
please
her
let me
about that?
moderate the debate.
Why don't you ask her about
I don't condemn
30,000
the idea.
people
I've got two
killed?
panelists here who've not had a word yet.
Exactly, because you're a
They
fucking
kidnap
terrorist.
Please stop
civilians from their
talking.
homes.
Yeah, one thing that I really appreciate about our military is there's obviously going to be things that we're not allowed to know because we're civilians and we're just need to know basis. But like, we're pretty open about basically everything that we do. All right. Like, we have tried to hide war crimes before, and it's good that we have whistleblowers that will come and call that shit out. But like, by and large, you have to go through like 10 like levels of clearance to do something. Even like I've heard stories of like I can't remember if it was a pilot in one of those gunships or if it was a helicopter operator or something, but they were like waiting for clearance while like they could see the squad below them behind a wall getting shot at from this building, and the wall was made of stone, so it was like fucking chipping away, and they were like getting lower and lower to the ground like, hey guys, there's like 1.5 feet of wall, can we please get fire support? But like they were still waiting on clearance. It's like, however, like obviously it feels a little bit cucked, as you know, especially if you're on the ground there, and it really unbelievably sucks for the soldiers in those situations. But like also it keeps us from doing too many fucking crazy shit like you would see from the Russian military, where they're like, you know, oh, you know, Grozny, no, you don't. Not anymore, you don't, you know. Oh, you know, Aleppo? No, you don't. You don't know anything about Aleppo because Aleppo's not even there anymore. Like, we don't do shit like that. Why? Because partially because we have a moral center to the way that we conduct things. And the reason that we have a moral center to the way that we conduct things is because we have a free and open press that can hold politicians to account. If our citizens saw that shit, they would be fucking appalled, and those people would never be in political power ever again. So it's just like, Jesus. So if they fired at you with a pistol, you were supposed to fire a pistol back. Really? Is that what the rules are? That's so fucking stupid.
And I think
Sorry,
you're a
that was
terrorist.
stupid.
So yeah, this has been very productive. Finally, Esther answers that same October 7th question, and she does so precisely and clearly while bodying these two clowns.
This happened in a vacuum. Of course, October the 7th was an atrocity, and it was completely unjustified. There was no justification for butchering people in the way that they did. But it didn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of the people that live in Gaza weren't even born at the time that Hamas came in power. So I really just... I despise this, you're a terrorist sympathizer, you're a genocide supporter, all of this, when really the people that we should be talking about deserve better.
Okay, James, on
So
the wider
fucking
point of this
base.
process.
Well, I couldn't get to that part because I wanted to describe what the apartheid...
He asked you 40 fucking times. Hasan, he asked you 40 times. Hasan, I can't quite get a look on what your position is here. Can you just tell me, was October the 7th good or bad? Well, you see, Piers, if we look historically at everything, like, bro, she answered in literally 5 seconds the thing that he asked you 20 times, and you weaseled around like the weasel that you are.
Is, and Emily cut in immediately to chirp about some random shit.
Okay.
He's so salty.
Look, Hassan.
Can I?
But
hang on,
can I add
Emily,
something?
please, I'll come to you. Let me just ask Hassan. When you and Emily go at each other like you just did, nobody wins. I mean, no one can really understand a word you're saying because you're shouting over each other. You end up just calling each other terrorists. There's no sensible dialogue here. There's no constructive conversation. It's just two implacably opposed sides abusing each other. Do you understand that?
Yeah, listen, Piers, okay? This is
Piers,
going to
let me
always
try and
have,
seem
this is going to
reasonable for a
always be a
second.
very heated discussion, okay? Having a conversation about how heated this discussion is utterly unproductive.
How are you supposed to have a productive conversation on this topic, educating people, if everyone is so emotional they can't even let each other speak? He's so emotional he can't even see the obvious flaws in his logic. The point he tries to make is absurd.
You tell me I'm wearing a...
Here's the thing. When it comes to Hasan, I actually don't think that he is as, as stupid as people say he is. I think he knows what he's doing. I don't think that you can be at the, level that Hasan has been at in terms of viewership, in terms of, collecting money and shit. Like, I don't think that you can get to that level without having some level of intelligence. I think that it's actually so much worse. It's not that he's stupid. I think that he either believes the dumb shit that he says, or he knows that he's lying to people. He knows that he's being weaselly, and he just doesn't want to be caught on it too often. Because if he gets caught on it too often by people that aren't already, that people that watch him aren't primed to hate, like Destiny or basically anybody on YouTube that says anything mean about him. If they're not already primed to hate him or hate the other person, then he gets super salty at that shit, dude. Is this Vampire Survivors? No, this is Death Must Die. My new obsession, and I hate it because I've been playing it too much.
an IDF dog tag. I'm wearing a bring them home for the hostages that you... No, it says bring them home.
You're using
This says bring
the
them home.
hostages as a simple political tool to make profit.
Hold on, I'm actually super curious. We watched that debate before, but I didn't look this up. What does an IDF dog tag look like? Okay, it does look exactly like that. Okay, it does look exactly like that. I thought that he was just like bullshitting, but it does look like that. Gotcha.
propaganda in the West is quite disgusting. The protests that are happening in Israel right now are massive.
Are a political tool?
And those protests,
what?
You are using
Hassan,
humans in captivity as a political tool. It's so obvious.
Yeah, but so is Hamas, right? That's why they took the hostages in the first place, to use them as political tools.
Yes.
James correctly points this out, and Hasan loses it.
Anyone is using hostages, surely it's Hamas, Hasan. How can you say that? How can you use that argument? That's a crazy thing to say. It's Hamas that have taken these people from their homes,
tens of thousands of people in Israel. There are currently tens of thousands of Israeli citizens right now in the streets of Israel, in the streets of Tel Aviv, outside of Benjamin Netanyahu's house, protesting every single day. What are they protesting? They're protesting for Benjamin Netanyahu to facilitate a ceasefire with Hamas so that they can actually bring the hostages home. That is precisely the number one goal of the family members of the hostages.
Who is using the hostages?
And if anyone on this panel was being even a little bit honest, they would recognize the reality that, listen, just listen.
You didn't listen to my question.
James is right. He's dodging his question.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand, perhaps, what I'm trying to imply.
Perhaps.
Utilizing the hostages. Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping.
You don't even have any clout,
all the way
dude.
From London about Palestine and doing.
You don't even have any clout. Plus, you're British. Actually, you know what? That's actually based. You know what? I don't like much of what this Hasan guy says, but when he talks about the British, I do listen.
Both sides are fine type bullshit. Or, you're talking about how you want to free Palestine, but also simultaneously, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the f up. You don't know anything, okay?
Bro, this guy lives in a $3 million home in California and drives a $250,000 Porsche. You're all equally unqualified.
I don't give a shit about what your perspective is.
I agree. Hassan doesn't like what you have to say, so you're wrong. It's Hassan's way or the highway.
I mean, you are. There is no both sides on a genocide. Is there a both sides on a genocide? There is no both sides.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting you should mention the hostages.
There is no both sides in an apartheid state.
Here's ends the debate early because Emily and Hasan won't stop talking over each other. The dialogue is completely free.
1 second. Let me look at chat really quick because I see a bunch of new names. Let me see here. What's strange is that Americans are still being held hostage. What I've heard that said, and like I don't doubt it, but the question is, and I don't know what like the rules on this are. I think learning a lot about like the Ukraine-Russia situation and the Israel-Gaza situation, I've learned absolute fuckload about international law and like what countries will and won't do. Even for their own citizens that are outside of the country. And man, all it did was make me, it got me to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to defer to people who like study this, study like international law. Like this is just beyond my wheelhouse. It is so, like our legal system is convoluted, but kind of makes sense once you understand like the basic mechanics of it. But like international law is just, if it is intuitive, it's not intuitive for me. I'll just say that. Oh shit, Violent Smoker is back. Let me see here. Identification tags, dog tags no longer exist. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Y'all hated the change? Yeah, I feel like everyone calls them dog tags, but I've been okay. Just got out of the hospital a couple of days ago and having to pee a whole lot. Yeah, we have a journalist, and is that I think she was like a WNBA player. She was like smoking weed, and so they decided to put her in jail for 10 years with hard labor or some crazy shit like that. Like at a certain point, there's like nothing that a country can do. But the thing that I was going to bring up about the American hostages in Gaza was that like if they have dual citizenship, like I don't know like how that works or if that makes it the like the responsibility of whichever country is closer. Like, I just don't know how that works. You're still an American? Yeah. Like when I say I don't know how that works, I'm being like completely like, it is like so outside of my wheelhouse where I've learned enough about international law and national responses to stuff overseas that like I know enough to know that I do not know fucking anything, and I will not know anything without devoting a lot of time to it, you know? We have a soldier held in prison in Russia too, went to meet a girl who set him up. What? Bro, that's the worst case of catfishing I've ever heard. Yeah, I'm sure like you can get by with the basic laws, like don't shoot a kid, don't, if someone looks at you mean, you're not allowed to be mean to them back, something like that. 1 second. Let me look at Kick Chat right quick. What's dumber, Democracy Now or Hasanabi? I don't think I've ever watched Democracy Now, so I couldn't say. Hasan, like, he's his own person, and he makes it's not, the reason I hate Hasan isn't just because of his political takes, although that's probably like edging over the other one. The other reason I hate him is because he is such a whiny baby, but he like postures super hard. He's a crybaby. And I hate it when people will, attack people ruthlessly and like, expect a certain level of, vitriol for one person. But like if the person that's expecting that vitriol towards the other person does the exact same thing, they like cry like a little bitch. Like that's like subhuman behavior. I fucking hate that shit so much. She was released for a war criminal who trafficked weapons. Oh, I do remember that. I remember reading about that and saying, you know what? I think that one was actually a bad swap. Because I'll sit here and I'll defend a lot of the stuff that Biden does, just on a like foreign policy economic basis. Except for, I guess he decided to lay on tariffs for some reason earlier today. But I need to read more about that. But like that swap. It's not like, he was in his 20s and he was an arms dealer and then they caught him and it's been 50 years. He's 70. They're deciding to let him go in exchange for a prisoner swap. No, it was like he was an arms dealer like 15 years ago. They caught him and now they're releasing him and he's probably going to go back to doing the exact same thing. That's like, while it's really good that we're bringing an American home, we got to have someone better to switch with him, right? Like there's got to be someone, but it's not illegal to shoot a kid under international law. Well, it is illegal to shoot a kid for no reason, which is what I was trying to say, right? Was an American and both of her parents were killed, got out, but are still a handful? Oh, are you talking about Gaza? Oof. Bro, I need to read Jerry, I need you to find me that guy's name so that I can look this up after I end stream, okay? Like the cuckoldry, going over to Russia for a nice, Cossack woman or whatever the fuck, and she just starts calling you dirty American scum, and leading you straight to the constabulary. Constabulary, yeah, so fucking funny.
Fruitless. He stares in the camera looking like he wants to end it all.
Say,
yes,
we are fighting human animals and we have to cut off their electricity, cut off their food, cut off their water.
Okay.
Yeah, the slight
you know what? I'm
Israel
going to cut off. I'm going to cut off this debate.
of their electricity. The rest is Hamas.
I'm going to cut off the
That's
debate
not
because
Israel.
we're getting absolutely
provides-
nowhere. But I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very much indeed.
The long dead
was much more
stare.
entertaining.
Oh man, wait, hold on. We gotta find the original video really quick because that stare from Piers Morgan was cut off. Piers Morgan, Hasan Piker. Is this the okay? Yeah.
Well, the war in Gaza has incensed communities.
Bro, he stares into the camera just like dead for you can tell that he was going to go home and drink.
But I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very much indeed.
This is the longest stare of all time at the end of a fucking newscast, dude. I fucking love that so fucking much. Okay, we gotta get through this video, okay, guys? I don't have much left in me. The pain meds are not helping me out right now. All right.
The Destiny's debate with Ben, but I didn't learn a goddamn thing. Nobody watching this changed their opinion or learned anything new about the conflict. Hasan does nothing for this topic. Even he agrees that it was a complete waste of time.
I unironically realized like I can't have these conversations with people who are just like dick riding Israel into oblivion. It's just not going to be productive discourse. I was screaming, dude. He probably loves you if you made good TV. No, we didn't make good TV. Because I nuked it. Probably came off unhinged.
I really do believe if he was just less emotional and engaged with arguments more directly, he would look a lot better. Instead, he frames it as everyone else is just doing this for career opportunities.
That's the problem. Every single one of these like pro-Israeli people are doing it for fucking career opportunities.
He gets mad at Brianna Wu for supporting how police handled protesters and compares her having the last name Wu to a white person saying the N-word.
How does she have the last name Wu? She married an Asian dude. And I guess like transitive property makes her Asian. I don't know. It's very strange. Like, okay, so I guess Riley Reid can say the N-word.
Bro, Hasan's never heard of a woman having a maiden name before. Don't tell this man anything. Let him live in ignorance, okay? He can't have those conversations with Ethan Klein either, so where's the bar? I don't think that there is. I think the bar is at the floor, and Hasan is like in the 9th level of hell, dude.
Word then, like, what do you mean? It don't work that way.
Her last name is Wu because that's her husband's last name. What is he talking about? Hasan was terrible in this debate. He managed to make a majority pro-Palestine panel hate him, and I don't blame them. Hasan is the best thing to happen to the IDF. He makes his side look so crazy. He mocks Destiny for reading Wikipedia.
Seems like he does more research than you. No, you just came in here to say that because you don't know anything about the way I've covered this conflict. I have talked to academics on this issue over and over again. I've used their works. I've interviewed them directly. I've interviewed journalists on the fucking ground that have like actually been in Gaza.
By that he means he reads tweets and only talks to people who agree with him. But when he's asked to read a single article from an opposing viewpoint, he's like, nope, don't want to pay for it.
Why don't you read the whole article? Well, one, because it's paywalled, and two, I don't want to listen to an article about how calling Israel an apartheid regime is wrong.
If you're so educated and know so much, go debate Destiny. Piers has been trying to set it up.
Vorselli. So they think like that's the position to take.
Who? The Piers Morgan people today reached out to me. They said, hi, would you be interested in debating Hasan Piker on either Tuesday or Thursday next week? I said, yeah, sure, but there's no way he will agree. And they said, checking. We'll see.
Hasan's pretending this isn't happening.
Got
it's
it.
pathetic.
Thank you so much.
Genocide! All of them! Genocide the Middle East! Permanent third world genocide!
Another thing Hasan has been doing is he will literally break news. He will talk about things that nobody else has even reported on or talked about yet. There's no details released, but Hasan's got the inside scoop. He doesn't cite anything.
There has been a ceasefire negotiation process with a lot of back and forth for some time now. Israel is the party that has been ruining the ceasefire terms. I know that it takes two to tango, but for the most part, I would say that Hamas's conditions have been endlessly reasonable. Israel's reaction has been anything but.
How? Why? Quantify that, please. He won't.
Now, of course, if you look at the American news coverage, the Western media's coverage on the issue, you would drive, you would basically come up with an entirely different opinion. Perhaps the exact opposite of what is the truth.
Okay, how?
So basically what I'm trying to say is...
Yeah, the condition to give back the dead hostages was so fucking stupid. Like, first off, the only reason that they said that there was a peace deal reached was to either force Israel into a position that they couldn't get out of, which I guess Israel just like does not care about what people think of them anymore because they're just like, you think that was going to stop us? No, we're going to bomb you harder, bitch. But like the terms of the deal were like, yeah, we'll give you your hostages back. they might be dead, but like you'll get them back. But you have to give us every single Palestinian back too. Every single Palestinian, even if they were convicted of murder and they were caught on camera stabbing someone in the fucking eye with a steak knife, like, yeah, you got to give us that guy back too. Release him. Like, Jesus.
What I'm trying to say is the media is presenting what is actually happening, looking at what is actually happening and just presenting the exact opposite. Okay? The exact opposite.
Show me. Give me an article. The video he has on screen does not confirm any of it.
In this round of conversations, basically they claim that like the Hamas acceptance was coming from an Egyptian envoy, and Egypt is also Hamas. Well, they didn't say that, but they said that the Egyptian terms were like infinitely softer than what the Israel would be down for or something. And this is after Hamas agreed to the latest proposal presented by Israel on April 27th. And there is no change in its elements. An official matter with the talks tells Reuters.
He's saying Hamas accepted Israel's ceasefire conditions with no changes and that Israel is backing out because they want to kill more people. This is insane news if true. Hasan's only source for this is a tweet. Like, bro, you gotta have more than this. He then immediately mocks and laughs at any report saying that Hamas may have changed the deal.
And the only thing that I've seen from Israel is that although it is their proposal, they no longer actually feel comfortable with it and are saying that maybe it's Egypt has softened that deal too much.
The details haven't been released yet. How is he mocking that? What if it's true? Only 2 days later, a U.S. official would report U.S. officials have pushed back on Hamas' claim that it agreed to a ceasefire deal, instead characterizing the response as a counter-proposal with changes. That counter-proposal will need further negotiation. So when this information would come out, would Hasan correct the story? Nope, he'd just continue his narrative. Israel reneged the terms.
That is why you saw celebration when the Palestinians heard that Hamas had accepted the ceasefire conditions, which were put together by an American and Egyptian and Qatari envoys as well, which is...
It was just Egyptian and Qatari. The Americans didn't have anything to do with the one that Israel supposedly agreed to and then reneged on. They might have had something to do with the previous version that didn't include, releasing dead hostages as like part of the like swap for Palestinian prisoners for, the hostages. But, we can just like say things on the internet and, no one's going to ever check this. No one's ever going to, call me out on lying on the internet. That would be crazy. No one's ever going to do that. And if they do, I'm simply just never going to acknowledge that they called me out on the fucking lie, because then people might, figure out I'm a lying liar who lies all the fucking time. And that's how I make my entire living, by lying and then crying to everyone when, my friends like make a passing joke.
Israel decided to renege on the terms and then turn around and say, actually, no, we didn't agree to this at all. We don't believe this at all. We are still going to continue with our Rafah invasion. Israel then also claimed that it was really fucked up of Hamas to act like they were accepting a ceasefire and getting the Palestinian hopes up.
And as usual, this guy doesn't cite anything. He just keeps the storyline going. That's the Hasan way.
It was funny to see like a brief moment from the media where they were like, Hamas accepted the conditions of the ceasefire, and then Israel reneged on the offer only to...
I'm sorry, I'm going to get so fucking triggered if I see one more tag from Panda in chat. What kind of partisan hack are you at this point to do that? Do what? You aren't open to criticism when I debunk you for supporting the establishment narratives and Biden at Sondsol. How are you any different from Hasan? I accept criticism all the fucking time. I have accepted enough criticism in my time of streaming to fundamentally change my entire worldview, not just, economically, but philosophically, morally, like every single part of my worldview, what the facts of the world were, because I was so fucking brain rotted, just like you are. But I'm out of that at this point, all right? At this point, I look at things in terms of incentives. I look at things in terms of how things have been, how they are right now, and what we can expect them to be in the future. I can look at a ton of different metrics for different pollings or, different measures of data for any different topic. And I can say, you know what, I think this was a good use of data, or I think this was a bad use of data. And they explain to you why. But your open criticism to me is Biden is a fascist, anti-libertarian, pro, modern monetary theory, whatever the fuck he is, whatever fucking buzzwords you want to throw out at me. That's what your criticism is. Shut the fuck up. Let me watch my funny video about the fucking liar that we're watching right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Check DM. Gotcha. This is a good one. Okay, you know what? I don't know why I never use the timeout button. Go do your homework. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I could not imagine living like that.
Very quickly turn back and be like, actually, no, Israel told us that it was Hamas that fucked up the offer and added additional conditions, and that's why it's Hamas's fault. It's like, is there a moment that Israel will be at fault for any of this, or is it always just Hamas?
The media only ever reported that that's what Hamas said, which is not the same thing. Even the most staunch advocates have to admit it's a little bit ridiculous that Hasan will see a single tweet, come up with a narrative in his head, and then when the news releases more information, he goes, nope, they're wrong, my scenario's actually right. He's like this because his foreign policy is America bad all the time.
Let me explain to you 2 principles that you should keep with you, coming from a person who's Turkish, okay? When you look at a situation in the Middle East, you look at what the local government is and who the Western forces are. Never align with the Western forces. That's a principle that you could take home with you if you want to actually be moral, or if you want to.
One of the biggest things that I was moved on when I, started actually learning about politics instead of just shit from Twitter, is America is actually fucking based. America is so fucking cool. I mean, almost our entire history is just based thing after based thing after based thing. There's a ton of shit that we did that was really bad. Okay. I mean, we did slavery. Okay. We ourselves did do a genocide of the Native Americans. Okay. We can own that. All right. We did bad things. But overwhelmingly, the things that America has done on the world stage have been a net positive, not just for, democracy, and not just a net gain for, the economy of the United States itself, but it's been a unimaginable force for good for the human race. It's just the more I learn about it, and again, I have multiple different perspectives. I've read socialist theory, okay? I've read fascist theory where they criticize the fuck out of liberalism. I'm now about to finish my degree in political science, where if I decide to actually become a smart person later on in life and get a master's degree, I'm probably going to study specifically extremist or authoritarian ideologies and what draws people to those things. And you look at the Soviet Union, those guys were real motherfuckers. Okay. You look at Stalin and you start to wonder, why the fuck do all these people think that he's so cool? I mean, even at my worst, I was never a fan of Stalin. All right. Even at my worst as a socialist, I was never a fan of Stalin, but, that guy, he was a real bad motherfucker. People suck his dick like he's the second coming of Christ. And he didn't even found the Soviet Union. what's wrong with slavery? Mr. No economic system is immoral. You're going to trigger the fuck out of me, bro. 1 second. America's one of the best countries to ever exist. There is no doubt. Yeah. I'd rather be America's neighbor and friend than pretty much any other nation. I mean, like, I don't get me wrong. I think that, like, if we look at the modern iterations of, like, most European countries, they're pretty good places to live, okay? Now, I have, especially recently, started to, like, realize the entirety of European history was, like, we think that the Middle East is bad, right? We think that the Middle East is bad with warfare. Bro, it was literally just like sport for the nobles in Europe, all right? It was constant. I don't think that there was a single full year of peace consecutively in Europe for like over 1,000 years. That is unfucking believable. Not only the nobles, well, I mean, like the nobles were the ones that, the peasants didn't get to, you know, start a war. But the violence was nonstop, dude. Like Europe today, paradise. Europe like pre-1945, that was a hellscape, dude. It was a hellscape. It lasted until like 1945, where they all realized, like, damn, bro, we've done this twice now. We've done this twice now. And we killed fucking 6 million Jews on top of a couple million other peoples. You know what? We got to stop this, guys. Like, it took that. It took two of them, 2 world wars for them to be like, yeah, you know what? We fucked up. Okay, you know what? Maybe we had this whole thing wrong. It's the green text meme. Cow intake power 241 million perish. I have no idea what that is. Sorry.
Want to be smart about the way you analyze other countries. That's one basic principle that you can take home with you. All of a sudden, magically, you are above on your foreign policy analysis. You're going to be better off than 90% of people that look at the situation.
That's not what analysis.
I never really looked. This is my current hyperfixation. Is the lead up to World War II is why I'm listening to off stream, and I didn't know this before, but the reason Imperial Japan was the way that it was because of Prussia. Like Germany really was the root of all evil. There was really nothing going on good over there in Deutschland, all right? Those brat-eating motherfuckers were really fucking up the entire world, okay? Yeah, the Prussians had an army that owns the state, but I didn't realize the extent of it to where they could like fundamentally alter the entirety of another nation's like political system without like spending a dime. They, like the Japanese, they just respected the fuck out of it. They were like, yo, these guys, they know how to fight. And they love fighting. And we like fighting. And we never lose. So we're going to fight now. Like, the pogroms during Russian Civil War killed something like 200. I see. The Russian Civil War is one that I know the basic beats of, but I don't know like basically any of the details. But I did know that the Soviets were not kind to Jews either. I mean, like the Soviets, when like the Ribbentrop or Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, when they both, you know, Eiffel Towered fucking Poland, just fucking DPing the entirety of Poland, they were sending Jews over the border to the German side of Poland at the request of the Nazis, like, because they didn't want them. I mean, like, I'll like grant them this, you know, moral grace here. Like, I don't think that they knew that the final solution was ever going to happen, right? And I don't think that at that time, the concentration camps had really like ramped up, but I can't remember when the concentration camps started. I just know that the death camp started in 42. A religious order formerly known as the Teutonic Order, the Iron Cross. Yeah. Wait, what did I say that was copying Destiny?
Analysis is, bro. That's called bias. Hasan isn't just bad at news, he does this on purpose. He's a propagandist.
Yeah, those dumb fucking Germans, for all the credit that we give them, they made shit fucking tanks, they made shit fucking fighter planes, they made shit fucking bombers, and you know what? They made shit warfare because they thought it was more important to, like, think of every Jew as like a gold hoarding rat than it was to, be alive anymore. Studying the lead up to World War II? Wait, is he doing that? Dude, I do that all the fucking time. That's like a consistent thing for me, all right? Fuck off.
It's no different than the counter-protester he condemns. College protests have erupted across the country. Their goals vary, but they mainly want universities to stop working with companies that have financial ties to Israel. And the students have every right to do that. The debate comes when students build a rust base and prevent other students from freely moving around campus. Asman tweeted about this, and Hasan responded saying students aren't being blocked from going to class. And Asman replied with a video.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked.
Okay, here's my bias warning. These protesters were cringe and ineffective. However, this guy right here, this guy is performative as fuck and also incredibly cringe. I think that there's so many ways that you can exercise your First Amendment rights, even to protest, even in ways that are super inconvenient, or, speaking to a law that's illegal and you intentionally break the law that is unjust and you accept the consequences. I think that all of that is, like, not only acceptable, I think it's based, right? The civil rights movement, where they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to go out there and we're going to march, and they're going to call you the N-word. They're going to spit on you. They're going to beat you, and you're going to keep walking, right? We're going to do a sit-in at this diner, and you're going to sit at the counter where only white people are allowed to sit, and they're going to spit on you. They're going to call you racial slurs. They're going to beat you. They're going to pour milkshakes on you. They're going to demean you. They're going to degrade you at every single level. You're going to go to jail. But at the end of the day, who had the moral right? Protesters are professional victims, literally. I mean, qualified, yes, because when I say, like, professional victims, like these kids right here and this guy who's counter protesting that's making the video, both of these people are professional victims. All right, they're not doing anything brave. They're not doing anything helpful. They're not like protesting in a way that actually, like, highlights the injustice that they're opposing. They're just the protesters are just being shitheads. Like, fuck. I want to like heavily qualify when I say this, because, like, I do think that those kids should have had the right to protest. And I think that for the most part, most of the college protests have been mostly acceptable. But, like, when you look at Columbia, when you look at UCLA, what the fuck did they accomplish? They boarded themselves up. They broke into fucking buildings. They graffitied the fuck out of things. It just pissed people the fuck off. They're not doing anything brave. I think the idea was something like, even if we go down, there will be no Jews to cause another war between the former German tribes. Man, this is what happens when you go down the rabbit hole of, like, actual political extremism, dude. The hunger strike people gave up. Oh, I didn't get my chicken nuggets, dude. I can't go on. They're rotating hunger strikes? I don't think I even need to comment on that. That speaks for itself, my guy. A good and bad protester fits the label. I know that phrase has a bad connotation. Yeah. It's just like I agree. Like because I mean, even technically in the civil rights era, they were being professional victims. They were intentionally going out and being like allowing themselves to become victimized in order to highlight an injustice. But it was at a tactical level where like we're going to have something really bad happen to us. And because it is so fucked up that this is even a rule, people are going to see that and they're going to be outraged. And you know what? It fucking worked. Help me, I'm at risk of failing. Listen, brother. Step 1 to not falling into political extremism. Talk to people in real life. All right? If you meet people in real life and you're able to hold a conversation for like 5 minutes, all right, with a coworker, all right, or with like, someone outside of your family, you have inoculated yourself against like 80% of falling into like political extremism, like rabbit hole. All right.
Off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Okay, we're going. We're going.
Yeah, make it a talk about school silly. Oh, listen, school, I can barely help you there. All right. I'm 28 and only just now about to get my bachelor's degree. All right. Not for like much failing, but a lot of it was not doing homework. A lot of it was changing my major too many times.
I'm going in. I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them. That's what they do.
Both.
That's what they
this
do,
guy's
everybody.
cringe. They're cringe.
You guys
God,
are
I
promoting
hate this shit
aggression.
so much.
You guys are promoting hate. We're UCLA students. We deserve to be there.
Hasan writes, this is a Zionist counter-protester and they routinely try to enter the encampment to dox and harm students. Like he's doing here now to farm TikToks and dupe people who aren't there into thinking these students are trying to block him from going to...
And like, think about it for a second. And also, guys, just so you know, like we're going to have to finish this video tomorrow. All right. I'm definitely not going to last like more than like another 20 minutes. All right. Pain's getting pretty bad. But like, think about this for a second. Hasan is getting a legitimate dunk on someone on a topic that Hasan has literally no moral weight to throw around. But he is getting a W against this guy. Why? Because he's being just as performative and just as much of like a whiny like professional victim as the protesters that he's trying to, call out. Like, again, like I want there to be, if there is an injustice in the United States, you should protest, right? This is why, like, at the beginning of the BLM protests, I was super for them, right? I didn't like the rioting. I understood the rioting, but I didn't like the rioting. When I attended the BLM protests, it was a march. It was a huge amount of people. It was totally peaceful. It was really cool. It was a really cool thing to go to. You know what fucking ruined it? These freaks at the very end. They said, okay, guys, we've reached City Hall. We've done our speeches, right? We had all our little guest speakers come up. We've done our thing, right? We've been acknowledged by the mayor, right? Now we got to go home, right? Bro, by the time we had walked like 4 blocks, there were some fucking retard losers fucking throwing shit, fucking battling with the cops. It's like, dude, can we just like have a good thing for a second? Can we just like show our best face for like, literally one day, just show our good face instead of like deciding to go out there and pretend to be, crusaders for justice? Hasn't the Rafah ground offensive begun already? When I checked this morning, they're doing the same strategy that they did in the north, which is like they move in like a mile and then they clear it out. So it's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So it's really slow. It's not like they're like blitzkrieging through the entirety of Rafah and then they're gonna, they're essentially surrounding the city and then moving in to, yeah. I have mixed feelings on that, but I mean, the UN report, I guess, that came out yesterday has it is playing into my opinion to slightly shift in favor of Israel again. It seems like there's just way too much bullshit coming out of the Hamas camp to ever believe a goddamn thing that, that they say. Like, I would put very low trust in literally anything that Hamas says in the first place, but like, when you say like 9,500 women and 14,500 children are in the death tolls, but then like the UN comes out 2 days later, like, hold on, there's something statistically not correct about this. It was actually only just under 5,000 women and literally like half of the amount of children that were killed. While that's still really bad, and don't get me wrong, that is like, it's really bad. It changes the calculation of like how bad it has gotten, right? And I'll get faster. Yeah, I mean, like, even logically, like, you start at the perimeter of a city and then you move in. Now there's a smaller circumference, and then you move in. There's a smaller circumference. Like, I can imagine, like, it's probably going to take like another month if they continue down this same course. But I don't take my word on that. I'm regurgitating shit that I heard from alleged generals on different news stations. Yeah, also the Vietnam protests like are so much closer to home, and like people at home like actually care about Vietnam. But if you look at the polling numbers, when you ask people about like what they're going to vote about, like even for college-aged kids in the United States, 24-year-olds, like out of 15 different topics. And think about that for a second. 15 different topics that could like influence your vote in the election in November, right? I honestly don't even know if there are 15 that I could list off the top of my head. I don't think that, no, there's a lot that I probably could, but there's more that's important to me. But like number 14 was Israel-Palestine. They're just not protesting something that people care about here. You think the left will realize they've been played by an enemy that made them turn on Israel? Well, here's what the reality is. I think that on one hand, the like lefties and all the like cringe shit that we see, like overwhelmingly, it's a lot of like really young kids, right? Most of them are college aged and like grew up in suburbia. And I think that that's just like the kind of the expected demographic that we would see protesting basically any like major political thing, since the, I can't speak to, like the 1800s, but I would say at least like going back to the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century, it's like college students and young people that are like leading the charge on like massive social or economic change. What I think is really bad is I'm kind of, I don't know how much to put onto this. I think that a lot of it is just like a lot of, what is the word I'm looking for? Empathy that they are exhibiting. They have a lot of empathy for civilians that are being killed. They have a lot of empathy for people who are being mistreated at the hands of police. They have a lot of empathy for people who are poor that can't afford to eat, and so that, because they don't have enough framing of the world at their age, they just see it as like, we'll fix it, motherfucker. Like, these people aren't able to, get a diabetes medicine. Let them get diabetes medicine. Like, just fix it, dude. But like, the more I learn about stuff, the more I realize how I was like in that same position, you know? Because there are things that I didn't even know I didn't know. But like in terms of like them being played by an enemy that made them turn on Israel, I think that really it's everyone that's getting played. I read something, I think I bookmarked it on my browser somewhere, and I'll try and find it, you know? Isn't that the same as being naive? I mean, like, naive is like a harsher way to say it, sure, but I think it's just like a very natural, like, part of growing up, right? Especially, I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it naivety, because I feel like you see less of this in people who, like, grew up in, like, exceptionally hard circumstances. Like, I didn't grow up in, like, cushy conditions, but I also didn't grow up in, like, hard conditions, right? Like there were periods where we were like pretty okay and we were just like chilling, and then there were periods where like we needed to go to the food or what do you call it, the food kitchen, or the they give you fucking canned food. Sorry, I'm having a fucking day, but like so I have like a little bit of a mixed perspective, I guess. But naive is just like a harsher word for it, but I guess so, yeah. Having spent, yeah. If you're using it in that way, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But like, I think that everyone's getting played. There's this link that I have where someone lays out in great detail with a lot of sources, like the explicit way in which the current world order is a liberal world order where we're all playing ostensibly by rules, where we all agree like, hey, we're not going to do wars where we're just like starting a war to gain more territory anymore. We're not doing that. We're not doing genocides anymore, right? We're not, going on holy crusades anymore. These things aren't allowed. We're going to fuck you with the EU. NATO's going to come through and turn you into Libya. Like if you start doing some weird shit with like, biological weapons or nuclear weapons or, gassing your people, guess what? You're about to have the might of like 8 of the 9 most powerful militaries on the planet bombing your ass relentlessly until you either concede or you die. But that order is being challenged by the illiberal states. And that's Russia, that's China, that's Iran, North Korea, probably Venezuela, but nobody cares about Venezuela, Cuba, but nobody cares about Cuba. And it's like, I kind of like it when people play by rules. And these other countries have documented and even openly stated, documented cases, and then they're like Prigozhin from Russia was bragging for some reason in great detail about how they're not trying to trick Republicans into voting for Trump. They're not trying to trick lefties into, becoming leftists. They're just trying to create as much social chaos and make everyone live in a different reality so that there is no consensus, so that America grinds to a halt, so that the UK, Germany, all these different places grind to a halt. We're actually, as much as I fucking hate to say it, because I've railed on conservatives a lot, we're actually all in the same fucking boat. We're all in the same boat where it's really hard to tell fact from fiction and who is a Russian bot and who isn't. And I think that young people are especially susceptible to it because they have no media literacy. I think older people are especially vulnerable to it because they have no tech literacy, like on average. And it's like, we need to find some way to convince people that what they are reading is either a half-truth, a mistruth, a deliberate lie, a total fabrication. Like, it would take critical thinking skills, but like when you start bringing up like specific things that are proven to be lies, people will fight tooth and nail to defend the lie because it aligns with their preconceived biases. And it's like such a hard thing for me to navigate right now, especially with that kid that I just had to time out, that panda kid. Like, he's 16 and he's fucking brain poisoned by politics when he should be, getting a driver's license. And it's just like, fuck. It's sad on so many levels, If conservatives or progressives turn, everyone drowns. This is what needs to happen. and excuse me if I get a little political here, okay? But like, in my opinion, probably what like the events that need to occur in the next like couple of years are Biden needs to get reelected, because I just don't think that Trump has the what's the word? I was about to say fortitude, but that's definitely not the right word. I don't think that he has the actual savvy to navigate the unbelievable like mishmash fucking spider web of global diplomacy that's going to be needed. And you can say that Biden doesn't either. And you know what? He he's going to be 148 next year, but I think that Biden actually will get people around him that will make the decisions for him, that will be able to navigate us through that. I think that we need to set some kind of standard for either the social media companies need to just like, there was like, I think Meta did this where they were like, we're just going to deprioritize all political content. We don't want to be called partisan, but like it's become too much for us to handle. We can't moderate this. We're just not going to do the political content anymore. And if you want to find it on our platform, you're going to have to find it yourself. We're not going to promote any of it. I think that something like that needs to happen. And obviously at a legislative level, that's like anti-First Amendment. But bro, I want to save us from ourselves. Like you can disagree with me on any number of policies, but bro, we got to live in the same universe, Let me see here. I think the problem is us politicizing youth without them having a sense of natural direction. It keeps the order of pendulum swinging normally. Now the Overton window has shifted solidly left. I wouldn't say that it's shifted solidly left. I think that there is a poli-sci student. Yeah, I think that there's like a so like if you're conservative, you're gonna see like the Overton window shifted hard to the left, right? But if you're on the left, you think everyone's fucking crazy Nazis, right? I think, and there's probably a better way to phrase this. I've been streaming for a couple of hours now, so I'm kind of winding down mentally, but there's probably a better way to phrase this. But we gotta find, again, we just gotta find some way to like coalesce around a common cause, probably. Russia and China are probably going to give that to us, because they're damned and determined to see where we draw red lines and then see if they can cross them over and over and over again. I don't know what exactly we should do, because it's going to be highly dependent, but fuck, what we need is like solid people in government that know what they're fucking doing, right? That's because the window has shifted so far left. To them, everyone is Nazis. But like, okay, so like, let me tell you from like a former communist, a former retard commie turned, I'm probably very liberal. Except for when I'm not. Hey, Israel. From like a left-leaning person's perspective, like we think about, look at Republicans from the 2000s, and then we look at conservatives now, or like Republicans, actually, instead of saying conservative, Republicans from like the early 2000s when I was in fucking first grade, and I look at Republicans now, right? I look at Republicans from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and I look at Republicans now, and it is shifted so unbelievably to the right, right? The Overton window hasn't grown in one direction. It has grown in two directions. Now, to be full and transparent, I don't think that most conservatives are anywhere near Nazis. I don't think that conservatives are anywhere near, most conservatives are anywhere near fascist. But there are distinct and increasingly accepted endpoints on our Overton window where they're starting to eke into that little fascism, eke into that socialism. you know, I'm not even say social. They're like full on fucking tanky red fucking, you know, or what do they call them? Red Nazis or whatever they call them. It's like the horseshoe thing, but we need to just like flat out not accept people saying fucking crazy shit, you know? That's a reaction. I mean, like, whether it's a reaction to the left doing something or not, like, I'm just like calling it how I see it, you know? Like, most conservatives for the last 20 or so years say the left just outright hates America. My understanding is conservatives always say that Democrats hate America. That it, like, listen, I can't speak to what was happening exactly 20 years ago. All right. I was 8 years old. All right. But I've seen, you know, TV shows from back then. I've seen, you know, news reports. I've read articles for school and shit. And, you know, the Republicans were calling it Democrats, communists or communist sympathizers all the time. Hey, can I stay in YouTube chat for the time being? No, you pissed me off. Being annoying. You were once in your tanky era too? Yeah, but I think that I don't want to like give myself too much credit because like how much credit can you give someone for like becoming a political extremist? I wouldn't ever say that I was a tanky, like an actual tanky. I was very much like pro-social, like very socially liberal. And I thought that I was advocating for socialism, but at the end of the day, like the more I learned about socialism, the less I liked it. I learned enough about it to debate, you know, literal like 3 IQ dumb fuck neo-Nazis on Twitch back when I was on Twitch, and, you know, get a reputation for debating back then. And then I got good enough at debating and like resting on those laurels to debate against like, you know, average conservatives. But like when it came to the economic arguments, like that was the tipping point. There was one debate that I had, and I'm gonna have to leave like here in just a second. But there was one debate that I had where I was arguing for I don't even remember what form of fucking socialism they call it. Worker co-op socialism, where everyone works in a worker co-op. And I was arguing for that, and this guy, he kept on asking me these questions. I was like, bro, it's 4 a.m. I've been streaming for 12 hours. I don't know like a good answer to this right now. I'm fucking tired, right? How about this? Give me like 10 questions, all right? I'll write them down and we can talk tomorrow, right? But I ended up for about a week, both on and off of my stream, because I was full-time streaming back then. For like a full week, I was like trying to figure out an answer, right? I was going to biased fucking sources. There was no answer for these questions that he asked me. I wonder if I still have it in a note on my computer somewhere. But like, I realized right there, I was like, fuck, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. And there's nowhere to find a good argument for this other than to just call the guy a Nazi. And I'm not going to do that. I do think that he was a gay fascist though. I don't think he was full-blown Nazi because I think he was Jewish, but he was like a Jew fascist, like cat boy for some reason. But it's hard to find other queer lefties who are not radicals. Hey, brother, right here. All right. I'm like 15% queer. So right there with you. All right. We're at 33:37. I'm going to end it here, guys. I said this at the beginning of stream, but I had surgery like 3 days ago. And I need to take some pain medicine and knock the fuck out because this shit's starting to get unbearable. I'm starting to lose the ability to think of words because I'm thinking about what time is it? How much time can I hold it? Prove it? Well, listen, if I was to prove it to you, I would get banned off of YouTube. All right. go to my Discord. All right. Join my Discord and you can look at the conversation there and you can see what happened to me. You guys can like the video. I would appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel, etc., etc., etc. I should be able to stream sometime after 3 p.m. tomorrow. I'm in Central Time. So I will catch you guys then. Love you guys.